Chapter 968. You two have a child. Chen Yuqing's tone was filled with desolation. Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji did not deny it and nodded their heads. Chen Yuqing immediately felt a sense of powerlessness and took a step back. Don't look at how it was just a small step. She immediately received a backlash. Blood could be seen flowing out from the gap of the helmet, and Chen Yuqing's aura became extremely weak. The towering murderous emperor returned to its original size. Chen Yuqing felt that her brain was buzzing. Yi Hua and I have a child. Thinking about it, isn't it normal for them to have a child after 1,000 years have passed? But, Yi Hua, you treat them so well, why are you so heartless to me? Chen Yuqing, who was angered, spat out another mouthful of blood, and the armor and imperial killer that she was wearing disappeared. Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji saw Chen Yuqing's original appearance. Yi Hua's eyesight is always so high. But right now, this beautiful woman's face was filled with desolation. She looked very pitiful, as if she was abandoned by Yi Hua. Qing Ya had always been doted on by Yi Hua, so she did not experience that kind of feeling. However, Donghuang Baiji was able to experience that kind of feeling. For our words to be able to give her such a huge blow, it could be seen how important Yi Hua was in her heart. Donghuang Baiji felt that she was already very angry when she waited for Yi Hua for 3 years. But this woman actually waited for Yi Hua for 1,000 years. Just how much willpower does that require? Not every woman can be like her. Although the subordinates left, they were still peeking at the side. They realized that his Honor's ex-girlfriend was indeed pitiful. Look at that pitiful look, her originally beautiful face became pale and powerless, and blood flowed out from her lips. His Honor is too ruthless, isn't he? No matter what, she is still his ex-girlfriend. It is only a big matter for him to come out and take a look. Qing Ya said softly, "Go and treat your injuries first." "No need, call Yi Hua out." Chen Yuqing slightly bent her body. Her entire body was in pain. Donghuang Baiji said softly, "Yi Hua still hasn't made up his mind. How about going and taking a rest first? I will wait here for him to think it through." Chen Yuqing raised her head slightly and looked at the palace. There was no joy in her eyes. She was a little disheartened. Donghuang Baiji consoled Donghuang Baiji. There are indeed some areas where Yi Hua did not do well. I have also said it just now, when I went to look for Yi Hua while pregnant with the child, he did not even take a single look at me, causing me to return home disheartened. During those few years, I had been raising the child by myself, and Yi Hua had never cared about us. That's right. Give Yi Hua some time. This matter is too sudden for Yi Hua. Qing Ya felt that Chen Yuqing's current state was not very good, just like a person who should have fainted, but was forcefully holding on to that belief. Chen Yuqing didn't say anything. She stood in place and slowly straightened her back. The blood at the corner of her mouth flowed onto her pure white dress. It was very eye-catching. No one expected this woman to be so stubborn. He was a little worried. After all, he had just suffered a backlash and needed time to recuperate. Otherwise, it would be detrimental to his future cultivation. Wait a moment then. Qing Ya said lightly. Qing Ya decided to go and persuade Yi Hua again. Will it kill you to meet someone else? Donghuang Baiji felt the same way as well. Both of them are women with bitter lives, and Yi Hua should at least give them an explanation. Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji disappeared from where they were once again. However, the yellow-armored warrior sealed off all of the surrounding streets. After all, this was his Honor's family matter, and no one else could know about it. Yi Hua was still drinking tea, just that, there were a lot more cigarette butts by his feet. Very quickly, Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji's figures appeared. Without waiting for the two women to speak, Yi Hua said faintly, "What are we going to eat tonight?" Ask the blood demon to make a braised eggplant pot. I felt that it was pretty good the last time I ate it. Yi Hua, don't talk about what we are going to eat first. Do you really not want to go and take a look that much? Qing Ya asked in a low voice. This was not Yi Hua's style. Yi Hua said faintly, "Didn't the two of you go and take a look for me? I have already said what happened in the past very clearly. I don't want to repeat it again. Daji, let's go and eat." Yi Hua stood up and said faintly. Daji said respectfully, "All right, master." Looking at Yi Hua's determined back view, Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji felt a little sad. Although I don't want others to interfere in my marriage, Yi Hua is too ruthless towards that woman. No matter what, Taking a look at her isn't a big deal. Dong Huang Baiji recalled what happened in the past, and even now, she is still a little jealous. Yi Hua is too ruthless towards me. Qing Ya is still the best. I am doted on from the beginning to the end. However, what should I do now? That person is still standing at the entrance of the palace, waiting for me. Am I supposed to continue waiting like this? After all, Wuxia Empire's weather isn't very good, and it is a bit cold. Qian Yuqing had just suffered from a backlash, and her body was wearing very thin clothes. Without the protection of Duqi, she would definitely be corroded. She would definitely be sick, but when the time comes, it would be even more troublesome for her to recover. What should I do? Dong Huang Baiji couldn't make up her mind. I will go and take some medicine and send it over first. Don't let anything happen. Qing Ya said gravely. I will go and persuade Yi Hua again. All right. Qing Ya took the medicine and went out, but Qian Yuqing didn't need it at all. She just stood there and looked at the entrance of the palace. However, she also wanted Qing Ya to pass on a message to Yi Hua. She, Qian Yuqing, will be Yi Hua's woman in this life, and if Yi Hua doesn't want her anymore, then let her directly fall into her next life. Her meaning was very clear. Since Yi Hua doesn't want her anymore, then I will kill him. If that's the case, I, Qian Yuqing, will not have a single trace of hope, and I will treat everything that happened in the past as a dream. Qing Ya felt that this matter was a bit thorny. One must know that Yi Hua hates being threatened the most, and this will only deepen the conflict between them. Qing Ya didn't dare to tell Yi Hua what she said, because she was afraid that Yi Hua would really kill her. Late at night, the temperature of Wuxia Empire dropped, and the cold wind howled outside. At the entrance of the palace, a lonely and destitute figure stood at the entrance of the palace. That slim figure seemed so weak and frail. Yi Hua's subordinates couldn't bear to watch this anymore, especially the women. They felt that his honor was too ruthless this time. We have to do something, Sun Fang said in a low voice. Tang Wei, Zishan, and Li Hun could be seen standing beside Yi Hua. Hearing what Sun Fang said, the other three women let out a light sigh. Isn't it all up to his honor to decide what to do? How about we go and beg his honor? Tang Wei suggested. Zishan shook her head. It was useless even when your wife begged for leniency. Do you think that it would be useful for us to beg for leniency? At this moment, Li Hun's expression became grave. His honor doesn't like this kind of threat. It is better for us to think of other ways. I feel that his honor's ex-girlfriend won't be able to hold on for more than a few days. She is getting weaker and weaker. Zishan said gravely. Qian Yuqing indeed wouldn't be able to hold on for more than a few days, and it was already a miracle that she was still able to stand after suffering such a backlash. Chapter 969. But right now, it was no different from burning her lifespan. But to Qian Yuqing, she had to hear Yi Hua's explanation. If she couldn't hear it, she would rather die here. Just like what she said to Yi Hua, if Qian Yuqing were to die one day, she wanted to die in his arms. Even if she died, it would be a very comfortable thing. Qian Yuqing could still remember what Yi Hua said. I won't allow you to die. Right now, Yi Hua was enjoying a sumptuous dinner. Blood Demon's culinary skills were top-notch. Right now, Yi Hua felt that in the entire team, Blood Demon's contribution was rather admirable. At the very least, he took good care of my taste buds. Daji stood at the side and served Yi Hua. Qing Ya and Dong Huang Baiji were eating carelessly, and worry could be seen on their faces. Yi Hua acted as if nothing had happened and continued eating. Right now, Dong Huang Baiji couldn't take it anymore and asked, Yi Hua, do you remember that time when I went to look for you, you avoided me? And I remember. Yi Hua said faintly. Then do you know how I felt back then? Dong Huang Baiji asked back. Yi Hua said faintly while eating potato shreds. Isn't that all in the past? Our current life is quite good. But Qian Yuqing has been waiting for you for a long time too. Bang! Yi Hua's expression turned cold. He slammed the table, and the table instantly shattered into pieces. Daji, who was standing behind Yi Hua, was startled. Master's temper is way too big, right? This is the first time I saw Master get so angry. Not only Daji, even Qing Ya and Dong Huang Baiji felt the same. In the past, when Yi Hua got angry, he would at most just talk to them and then ignore them. After a few days, he would come back to coax them. But today, he actually smashed the table into pieces. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were truly frightened and sat on the chair blankly. The atmosphere became heavy. Yihua stood up and said coldly, "Don't mention the past and the future. The two of you better remember this clearly." After finished speaking, Yihua walked out. Daji looked at the two madams, and her eyes turned red. However, she had no choice but to quickly chase after Yihua. How could Qingya and Donghuang Baiji not feel wronged? We were clearly thinking for you wholeheartedly, but in the end, you didn't appreciate it and even scared us. We are your wives, not your punching bags. Yihua didn't return to his bedroom, and instead, he went to Wei Chang's palace. Your Honor. When Wei Chang saw that his honor had come up with a black face, he knew that things weren't going as he wished, and hurriedly kneeled down and kowtowed. It was the same for Tang Wei. Drink some. Yihua said faintly, then walked to the pavilion at the side. Wei Chang looked at Tang Wei and said in a low voice, "Go get some wine and stir-fry a few side dishes. Please don't beg for mercy." "And I know," Tang Wei said cautiously and hurriedly went to prepare. Wei Chang walked into the pavilion with his body bent, and stood beside Yihua without saying a word. "Take a seat." "Thank you, Your Honor," Wei Chang said respectfully as he sat on the left side of Yihua. Yihua took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up, then slowly puffed out the smoke. "Wei Chang, how long have we known each other?" Yihua asked indifferently. Wei Chang went into a daze for a moment, then said in a low voice, "Your Honor, we have known each other for 1,011 years. That's right, it has already been more than 1,000 years. Time sure passes quickly. Do you remember how we got to know each other back then?" Yihua sighed and said slowly, "How could Wei Chang possibly forget about that?" He replied, "Back then, I was massacring my own clansmen, and it was Your Honor who appeared and defeated me. Do you know why I wanted to beat you up? Subordinate does not know. Because I like your vicious methods," Yihua said coldly, and a vicious aura was emitting out from his entire body. Wei Chang didn't say anything and chose to listen quietly. At this moment, Tang Wei walked over with the wine and said respectfully, "Your Honor, I will go and stir-fry a few side dishes." "No need. Bring some peanuts over," Yihua said indifferently. "Yes." Very quickly, Tang Wei brought some peanuts over. "Daji, you go and rest." Daji, who was standing at the side, went into a daze for a moment, then responded and left. Only Yihua and Wei Chang were left at the scene. Yihua poured a cup of wine for himself, then picked up the wine pot and poured a cup of wine for Wei Chang. Wei Chang held onto the wine cup with both of his hands in fear. "For his honor to personally pour wine for me, this is a great honor." Yihua raised the wine cup, and Wei Chang lightly clinked the wine cup with both of his hands. Yihua gulped down the wine cup, and Wei Chang did the same as well. "Do you like your previous life or your current life?" Yihua looked at the full moon in the sky. "The moon is very bright. Yet, I feel a little confused. I'm even starting to doubt if what I've done all these years is right or wrong, and if I have been too benevolent toward my enemies. I feel that I don't even care about my hatred anymore. I have always been playing around, and I have never treated my life seriously. I'm even playing around with my empire." Wei Chang slightly wrinkled his brows. "His honor is asking me a question again. I have to answer carefully. It is fortunate that I drew the main points back then. I knew that it would be a test. Your Honor, my previous life has the taste of my previous life, and my current life has the happiness of my current life. If subordinate was to choose, the life in my previous life was for the sake of massacring, and the life in my current life is for the sake of love." "Love," Yihua murmured. Wei Chang nodded his head. "In the past, we didn't understand why those people would sacrifice themselves for each other. Back then, we all felt that those people were all idiots, but only after understanding them would we know that those people are willing to sacrifice themselves for each other. This is a kind of feeling that we are unable to obtain, but right now, we all have this kind of feeling." After hearing that, Yihua laughed lightly. "Perhaps, I shouldn't have let you all experience it, and I don't need to experience it either. Sometimes, love can be a burden, and also a weakness. However, if there is no love in life, life would be incomplete," Wei Chang said lightly. Yihua extinguished the cigarette butt, then lit up another cigarette. "Wei Chang, when you kill your own kind, how do you feel? Is Your Honor talking about the feeling back then, or the feeling right now? Tell me about both." "Back then, I didn't feel anything, but right now, I feel a bit uncomfortable in my heart. Wei Chong said lightly. The reason why he killed his own kind was actually very simple. Wei Chong wanted to become unique. What do you think about kinship? Wei Chang's heart sunk. This should be the most crucial question tonight. Wei Chong didn't dare to be careless. Whether or not I am able to persuade his honor will depend on me. Humans often say that among all virtues, filial piety is the most important. From this it can be seen how much humans value kinship. From the past, when we kill the young, the old would come, and when we kill the old, an even older one would come. Even though we know that we are sending ourselves to death, we still came. This is kinship, right? How could Yi Hua not remember? It wasn't like something like this hadn't happened before back then. He could still remember it even now. Wei Chong, what do you think I should do now? Yi Hua, who was at a loss, asked lightly. Chapter 970. Wei Chong immediately bowed down and said fearfully, Your Honor, subordinate doesn't dare to teach Your Honor what to do, but Your Honor can do something based on your own inner heart. Inner heart? If I knew, I wouldn't have come here. Yi Hua laughed lightly, but more of it seemed like he was laughing at himself. Wei Chang's eyes suddenly lit up. Your Honor, subordinate has an idea that can solve Your Honor's problem. Say it. All right. Subordinate hopes that Your Honor can answer me immediately. Wei Chong said respectfully. All right. I promise you. Wei Chong paused for a moment, then asked, Does Your Honor love Your Honor's wife? Yes. Yi Hua said without stopping. Does Your Honor love Young Honor and the others? Wei Chang's tone gradually became faster. Yes. Does Your Honor want to take revenge? Yes. Does Your Honor want to go and see your family? Yes. At this moment, time seemed to have stopped. Wei Chong looked at his honor and discovered that his honor's expression had become distorted. The cigarette that was on the tip of Wei Chang's finger broke. Subordinate knows his mistake. Wei Chong hurriedly bowed down and admitted his mistake. Yi Hua slowly closed his eyes, stood up, and walked out of the pavilion without saying anything. Wei Chong looked at his honor's back view. This is the first time I saw his honor being so confused, losing his own opinion, losing courage. At this moment, Tang Wei quickly ran over and helped Wei Chong up. Uncle Wei, how is it? Tang Wei asked worriedly. Wei Chong shook his head. I don't know. Tang Wei lightly bit onto her lips. After walking out of Wei Chang's palace, Yi Hua walked into the palace. I actually wanted to go, but why did I want to go? To find out the truth of the matter? Or to see what his birth mother looks like? Are all these important? Are all these very important to me? Yi Hua's heart returned to normal. Very important. Unknowingly, Yi Hua arrived at the entrance of the palace. The two huge doors were closed. The black-armored warrior who was standing guard inside immediately bowed down and kowtowed. Yi Hua stood behind the door, and the huge door in front of him became blurry and soon became transparent. Qian Yuqing's figure appeared in front of Yi Hua. When Yi Hua saw the stubborn expression on this woman's face, Yi Hua's gaze became heavy. She was indeed very beautiful, but right now, her beauty had a sickly look to it, and there was still a trace of bloodstain at the corner of her mouth. She looked at the palace with a glimmer of hope, as if she was looking forward to something. Suddenly, Yi Hua noticed that the other party's gaze was gradually moving downwards. They were separated by two giant doors, but their eyes met. This glance caused Yi Hua's heart to skip a beat, and Yi Hua moved his gaze away reflexively. Such an action caused Yi Hua to be a bit puzzled. Why would I have such a thought? Guilt. How could I, the Supreme Overlord, possibly have feelings of guilt? Why should I feel guilty towards the things that I, the Supreme Overlord, have done? At this moment, goose feather-like snowflakes suddenly floated down from the sky. Qian Yuqing looked at the two giant doors. In that instant, a familiar feeling surged into her heart. Yi Hua, is that you? Qian Yuqing asked with a trembling voice. However, her voice was so weak that only she could hear it. However, to Yi Hua, how could he not hear it? This voice indeed gave me a familiar feeling, as if it was guiding me to find the way back home. Yi Hua didn't say anything and looked at Qian Yuqing, who was outside. Qian Yuqing took a step forward, and blood immediately flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Her body suddenly fell onto the ground. Seeing that Qian Yuqing fell onto the ground, Yi Hua's finger trembled a bit. It seemed like he wanted to help this woman up, but in the end, he didn't do so. It would have been fine if Chen Yuqing didn't move, but that move just now had instantly caused the injuries within her body to become chaotic. However, Chen Yuqing didn't care about all of that at all. Her beautiful eyes stared fixedly at the closed palace door. Yi Hua is right behind me. She might be able to sense it. In the end, Yi Hua still came to see me. Yi Hua didn't abandon me. Right now, the snowflakes were slowly falling onto the ground. When the snowflakes fell onto Chen Yuqing's body, a layer of white frost quickly appeared on Chen Yuqing's beautiful black hair. However, from Chen Yuqing's position to the palace door, it was only around 20 meters away. However, to the current Chen Yuqing, every single movement was extremely painful. Blood flowed out from her mouth unceasingly, and it was only 10 meters away. Even after suffering such pain, Chen Yuqing didn't give up. Her beautiful eyes were filled with unswerving determination. His elbows were moving slightly as he dragged his injured body. Yi Hua stood behind the palace door and looked at Chen Yuqing crawling slowly, and the blood that flowed out from the corner of her mouth. All of this seemed so ghastly. Yi Hua's chest began to undulate up and down, and his breathing became hurried. The sparkling and translucent snowflakes covered the long bloodstain, and Chen Yuqing finally touched the palace door. Because she used too much strength, the skin on her slender fingers was broken, revealing her tender flesh. Just like that, her hand lightly touched the palace door. After that, she used all of her strength to support her exhausted body up and leaned against the palace door. Her breathing was very hurried. Yi Hua, who was standing behind the palace door, lowered his head and looked at Chen Yuqing. Why is she so persistent? Doesn't she know that she will die like this? Could it be that she just wants to see me? Is it worth it? Yi Hua. Chen Yuqing called out lightly. Her tone revealed a trace of death. To her, crawling just now was a second injury. All of her subordinates originally guessed that she wouldn't be able to last more than a few days. But now, she might not even need a few days. Being able to feel your existence, Yuqing is already very happy. Chen Yuqing leaned against the cold palace door and said lightly. Her pair of beautiful eyes seemed like they couldn't open anymore. Yuqing knew that you wouldn't die just like that. You must be in some corner. Today, Yuqing finally found you. But you don't remember Yuqing anymore. Yuqing is very sad, really very sad. But Yi Hua, you still came to see Yuqing. You are still the same as before, with a sharp mouth but a soft heart. Do you think that I don't know that you are hiding behind the door? You idiot. Did you forget that you always made Yuqing angry in the past? You even made Yuqing cry a few times, but Yuqing knew that you always stood behind the door and didn't dare to come in. Yi Hua listened silently. It seemed like he was trying hard to remember, but he couldn't remember. Today, Yuqing's tears are happy. Knowing that you, Yi Hua, didn't die means that Yuqing didn't waste her efforts all these years. Everything is worth it. Yi Hua, in the future, Yuqing won't be able to take care of mother anymore. Little Tian is being pushed aside everywhere. As the big brother, Yuqing still hopes that you can go back and take a look and fulfill mother's wish. Chen Yuqing's tender and beautiful lips gradually turned pale, and her eyes suddenly brightened up. She raised her head and looked at the snow that filled the sky. Yi Hua, it's snowing here. It's so beautiful. But it's so cold. Yuqing is so cold. So cold. Chen Yuqing's beautiful eyes that were originally bright gradually dimmed down. The snow that filled the sky landed on Chen Yuqing's body. Yi Hua, do you still remember what Yuqing said before? Even if I die, I want to die in your embrace. That way, it should be very comfortable, very warm. After Chen Yuqing finished speaking, a trace of an arc appeared on the corner of her mouth, and she felt as if she was being hugged by Yi Hua. Chapter 971. I haven't felt this kind of feeling for 1,000 years. This kind of hug. I've only felt it once. Furthermore, on the day of their wedding, Yi Hua suddenly needed to go out to battle. When he was about to leave, he hugged me tightly and said that he would come back. Although it was only for a short few seconds, I have never forgotten this feeling in my entire life. It was this feeling. I felt as if my body and mind were being illuminated by the warm sunlight. Chen Yuqing's beautiful eyes, which were originally closed, opened a little. A familiar profile appeared in front of her. Chen Yuqing's beautiful eyes were filled with doubt, but it was soon replaced by surprise. Yi Hua appeared in front of me, and he even hugged me. He was the same as before. There was no difference. The only difference was that her hairstyle had changed. She didn't look as good as before. However, it didn't matter. Yihua was still the same as before, and his gaze was still so cold and indifferent. Qian Yuqing wanted to say something, but she was unable to say anything. She could only use her pair of eyes to tell Yihua how much she missed him, how much she worried about him, and how much she loved him. This happiness came too quickly. Qian Yuqing howled and laughed, as if she was a child. Perhaps it was because Qian Yuqing was too tired. She fell asleep in Yihua's embrace just like that. Although she fell asleep, her hands were tightly grabbing onto Yihua's clothes, fearing that Yihua would leave again. Qian Yuqing, who was in a daze, suddenly felt a gust of cold wind and shivered. Feeling the coldness on her body, Qian Yuqing seemed to have thought of something, opened her beautiful eyes and shouted, "Yihua!" However, everything in front of him changed. He was still standing in the same place, with the palace gates tightly shut. Qian Yuqing became confused. Could it be that it was all a dream? How is that possible? How can there be such a realistic dream? Yihua. Qian Yuqing lowered her head slightly to look at her fingers. Her lips gradually curled into a smile. Then, she raised her head to look at the palace. Yihua was still the same as before, wanting to save face no matter what. Right now, Yihua was walking in the imperial palace, allowing the snowflakes to land on his shoulders. However, if one were to observe carefully, one would be able to see that a large patch of Yihua's chest was wet. This doesn't seem to be wet from the snowflakes, and it seems more like tears. Yihua gradually walked to Qing Yutong's palace. Pushing open the door, Yihua took off the imperial gown, then lied on the bed and closed his eyes. Yihua looked like he was sleeping, but in actuality, he was thinking about a problem. Did he really have to go back? When faced with things that had nothing to do with him in the past, wouldn't that be more trouble? Should he go back or not? Yihua probably wouldn't be able to think of an answer to this question. Even if I know that I want to go back to heaven's burial ground, I still lack a reason right now. However, his subordinates had a strange expression on their faces. At this time Zishan said lightly, "In actuality, his honor is still quite kind." Wei Chong, Lai Gu, and Zhu Tian immediately looked towards Zishan with slanted eyes. "You actually said that his honor is kind? That is because you didn't see that when his honor isn't kind, when his honor is simply exterminating the world. Yeah, that Qian Yuqing is actually quite pitiful." Tang Wei also whispered. However, in the end, his honor was still rather gentle. Li Hun said with a slight smile. His honor isn't that cold-blooded after all. Lai Gu said in a low voice, but in the end, I just couldn't understand it. Perhaps, his honor is still hesitating in his heart. As long as his honor thinks things through, his honor will naturally be fine. Wei Chong took a deep breath. This time, his honor can be said to have gotten into big trouble. The subordinates also sighed lightly. They couldn't help with this kind of thing at all. After all, this is his honor's family matter, and it's not like the enemy is a powerful enemy. If the enemy is a powerful enemy, it would still be easy to deal with. I would be able to help his honor in a matter of minutes. As expected of that saying, every family has its own problems. At this moment, the door of the room was suddenly pushed open, and Qingya and Donghuang Baiji could be seen walking in. The subordinates hurriedly saluted. Subordinate pays respect to your wife. Everyone get up, Qingya said gravely. Thank you, your wife. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji also saw the scene from just now, and they also saw Yihua walking into Qing Yutong's room to sleep. However, after everything that happened tonight, how could Qingya and Donghuang Baiji be able to sleep? Wei Chong asked respectfully, "May I know why your wife is coming so late at night?" Donghuang Baiji said in a low voice, "Wei Chong, Lai Gu, the two of you have been following Yihua for the longest time. Do you have any ideas?" Wei Chong and Lai Gu took a look at each other. If there were any ideas, they would have used them long ago. Why would they have waited until now? However, since your wife asked about it, Wei Chong still had to say it. Replying to your esteemed wife, we cannot be too hasty with this matter. Wait until his honor thinks it through. Then everything will be fine. What we need to do is to not disturb his honor. Wei Chong gave the most pertinent suggestion. Lai Gu cupped his hands and said, "That's right, when his honor encounters difficulties, he likes to ponder on his own. As long as he thinks it through, it will be fine." Then, How long will it take for him to think it through? Qingya asked. Although Yihua lost his temper today, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji did not blame Yihua. After all, such a thing had happened. Yihua had his emotions too. How long will it take for him to think it through? This question made Wei Chong, Lai Gu, and the others feel troubled. Seeing that the two of them were not speaking, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji understood. From the looks of it, Yihua wouldn't be able to think it through in a short period of time. Everyone, rest early, Qingya said lightly, then left with Donghuang Baiji. The subordinates stood there for a while, then went back to their own homes. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji arrived outside of Qing Yutong's bedroom. Do you want to go in and accompany Yihua? Qingya asked puzzledly. Right now, I don't even dare to be sure if Yihua needs someone to accompany him or not. Donghuang Baiji pinched her fingers. It is better for us to not disturb Yihua. It is better for him to be alone. You're right. Qingya nodded her head. Right now, Yihua needs to properly think about it. If he doesn't go back, he will have to bear the reputation of being unfilial. However, to Yihua, he doesn't care about this reputation at all. After all, his reputation in the past was already very bad. However, if he were to go back, he would have to face his family, and even some of his brothers. Furthermore, this would disrupt Yihua's original plan. After all, it was still not the time for Yihua to appear in God's realm, because the people in Kangluo continent had not been dealt with yet. The night gradually dispersed, and a new dawn arrived. Chen Yuqing was still standing outside of the palace, and the streets at the side were all sealed off. Not even a mosquito would be able to enter. However, this situation attracted the attention of the residents, and all of them were guessing what was going on. Especially the anomaly that appeared last night, that 30,000-meter tall machete, that terrifying vibration. Just what exactly is going on? Everyone was gossiping about this matter in their spare time, and they felt that this matter is definitely related to that woman. What relationship does that woman have with the emperor? Right now, everyone was guessing. The emperor's younger brother is a god. Could it be that this woman who suddenly appeared is a god as well? Chapter 972. Who is she to the emperor? Elder sister or younger sister? Or wife? Or mother? But no matter what her identity is, there is always one thing that is correct, and that is a deity. This Wuxia empire is protected by a deity. Who would dare to come and cause trouble for them? This is what all of Wuxia empire citizens care about. They feel that their safety has received another layer of protection. They even feel that in the entire Kangluo continent, Wuxia empire is the most awesome, and the others are all trash. Within the imperial palace, Yihua sat in Qing Yutong's palace and enjoyed his breakfast. There was only a fruit jianbing, but it was also one of Yihua's favorite breakfast. Every time I eat this fruit jianbing with egg and ham, I will think of that auntie, the only person who dares to talk back to me. To be more accurate, it should be said that I am teaching her a lesson. But I actually continued to listen to her. Could it be that I lack a lesson? Bullshit. I have always been the one teaching others how to do things. When did it become someone else's turn to teach me a lesson? Master, the fruit jianbing won't taste good when it gets cold. Daji, who was serving at the side, reminded. Yihua picked up the fruit jianbing on the plate and took a bite. I feel that today's fruit jianbing doesn't taste good at all. Yihua lightly placed the fruit jianbing on the table and asked faintly, Are you still standing outside? Replying to Master, Yes. Yihua took in a deep breath, then stepped out of the room. Daji picked up the fruit jianbing on the table and took a bite at the place where Yihua had just bitten. Daji revealed out a satisfied smile. So fragrant to Daji, this was a type of satisfaction. Walking in his huge imperial palace, Yihua discovered that he had nowhere to go. He felt very bored no matter where he went. Should I go look for Qingya and Donghuang Baiji? I just scolded them yesterday, and I am going to look for them today. This isn't my style. It's still Chen Yuqing who is standing at the entrance. Towards this woman, Yihua didn't know how to choose. Like her? How is that possible? Don't like her? Then why did I save her yesterday night? It must be the pity of the Supreme Lord that is causing mischief. As expected, I shouldn't have cultivated my humanity back then. Great, I have cultivated myself into an indecisive person. I am still overcautious when making a decision. 3 days passed by very quickly, and Yihua still did not go out to see Qian Yuqing. Qian Yuqing had been standing at the entrance of the palace the whole time. Her attitude was very clear. If you don't meet Yuqing face to face, don't even think about letting Yuqing go. Things were rather calm here, but something big had happened in Lingdu. Qian Yuqing's maid noticed that the young miss was missing. Qian clan was instantly shaken. Huang Yun soon received the news that his fiancée had actually gone missing. Instantly, he flew into a rage. Yi Juetian thought that his sister-in-law would be able to bring his big brother back within a day. But unexpectedly, it had been 3 days, and sister-in-law still hadn't come back, and she had been discovered. Because of Imperial Cloud, the entire spirit capital was under martial law, and they began to interrogate and investigate the news. Yi Juetian was incomparably worried right now. If this matter were to be exposed, it would definitely not be a good thing. Moreover, Yi Juetian was sure that they would be looking for him very soon. Huang Yun definitely knew that he was close to sister-in-law. What should he do? Little Tian, are you outside? At this moment, Yi Juetian was standing in front of his mother's house. Lu Jing's shouts could be heard from inside. Yi Juetian pushed open the door and entered the house, then revealed a smile. Mother! Lu Jing's expression was a lot better, and a trace of redness could be seen on her face. This was all thanks to the spiritual spring. However, Yi Juetian noticed that today, his mother seemed to be a bit strange, as if she was very agitated. Little Tian, come to mother's side. Lu Jing called out tenderly. Yi Juetian walked to his mother's side and sat down, then turned his head around and said with a smile, Mother, what happened? Where did Yuqing go? Lu Jing asked straightforwardly. Yi Juetian went into a daze. Could it be that mother discovered something? This shouldn't be. I and sister-in-law did it so secretly. Mother shouldn't have discovered it. Little Tian, Yuqing has never been like this before, and this time, she suddenly disappeared. Furthermore, it was after you went to look for Yuqing. Mother isn't an idiot, tell mother. Is it because of your big brother? The agitated Lu Jing immediately grabbed onto Yi Juetian's hand. Yi Juetian felt the strength of his mother's hand, and he could feel that his mother's hand was slightly trembling. After Lu Jing found out that Yuqing had disappeared, she only had a single thought in her mind, and that was, Yuqing definitely had news about Yihua. If not, Yuqing wouldn't have left just like that. Little Tian, tell mother, did you find your big brother? Hearing his mother's pleading, Yi Juetian finally couldn't bear it anymore. That's right, I found big brother. Sister-in-law went to look for big brother. Yi Juetian didn't hide it anymore. At the same time, he knew that since there wasn't any reaction from sister-in-law for a few days, it was definitely because big brother wasn't willing to come back. When Lu Jing heard her son's words, her entire body froze. Her lips were slightly trembling, and a layer of mist appeared in her eyes. Standing up, Lu Jing knelt down in front of the god and paid her respects. God bless my son, my Yihua is still alive. As she spoke, Lu Jing's tone became choked with sobs. Yi Juetian helped his mother up. Mother, you can't be too agitated. Little Tian, this is great. This is great. Lu Jing looked at her youngest son with a face full of joy. Lu Jing felt that her entire world had brightened up. After waiting for so many years, this day is finally here. Yi Juetian didn't even know what to say. Mother is so happy. Could it be that I am going to be punished again? Looking at her youngest son's expression, Lu Jing lightly caressed Yi Juetian's face. Is Yihua not willing to come back? Lu Jing was indeed worthy of being the talented woman of the past. Her foresight was like a god. If Yihua was willing to come back, he would have long returned together with his youngest son. If Yuqing was willing to come back, she would have brought Yihua back long ago. However, even now, Yihua was still not back. There was only one possibility, and that was that Yihua wasn't willing to come back. Mother, big brother lost his memory. Yi Juetian naturally had to explain. Lu Jing chuckled. Then it makes sense. No wonder your brother isn't willing to come back. Mother, but what? Yi Juetian wanted to say something, but he didn't dare to. Should he say it or not? But big brother has changed a lot. He's not the same big brother as before. Yi Juetian felt that he had to tell his mother so that she could be mentally prepared. If his big brother came back, at least his mother would know about it and wouldn't be so sad. Lu Jing sighed heavily after hearing this. Your big brother lost his memory, so it's normal for him to have some changes. But mother, big brother has changed a lot. At this moment, Lu Jing couldn't help but become vigilant. Do you still not know what kind of moral character Yihua has? Take pleasure in helping others, love the people, and eradicate evil. He would do all kinds of good deeds, and wherever there was injustice, he would rush there to save the people who were living in the abyss of suffering. That was why Yihua was deeply loved and respected by the people back then. Chapter 973. Is your big brother living well now? Lu Jing asked lightly, not in a hurry to ask why. Big brother is currently living in Kangluo continent. He is an emperor. Yi Juetian said softly, thinking that big brother is currently a tyrant. Lu Jing laughed. Then he should be a good emperor. I feel that Yihua is made to be an emperor. In the past, Lu Jing wouldn't dare to say such disrespectful words, but right now, she was too happy, so she said it. Mother, I don't know if big brother is a good emperor or not, but when I saw big brother, he was currently massacring some defenseless people. There were old and young, tens of thousands of people were all beheaded. Impossible. After hearing this, Lu Jing was so excited that she stood up. In Lu Jing's heart, Yihua definitely wouldn't do such a thing. How could he possibly go and kill some defenseless people? I saw it with my own eyes. Those people seem to have angered Big Brother, but Big Brother's way of doing things is too extreme. As a deity, Yi Juetian had been instilled with great principles since he was young, and back then, Yihua was also the same. I wonder if this should be called brainwashing. Did your big brother do anything else? Right now, Lu Jing still didn't dare to be sure. There was definitely something that he had no choice but to do. Big brother married 2 wives. Lu Jing didn't become unhappy after hearing this. Although deities were monogamous, that was only for commoners. For some experts, it was very normal for them to have a few more women to reproduce. Have you seen those 2 women? How are their characters? Lu Jing asked curiously. After all, they were her son's wives. She still had to ask about them. Yi Juetian nodded. Big brother's 2 wives seem to be pretty good. They are comparable to big sister-in-law. Lu Jing laughed lightly, then revealed a helpless expression. Does your big sister-in-law know? Understood. This is really hard for Yuqing. After waiting for Yihua for so many years, after being infatuated with him for so many years, Yihua actually married someone else. Lu Jing sighed lightly. Right now her daughter-in-law, Lu Jing only recognizes Qian Yuqing. After all, Qian Yuqing had been watching over Yihua for so many years. Such a daughter-in-law was really hard to find. Why isn't your big brother willing to come back? Lu Jing finally asked this crucial question. Although her son had lost his memory, he was still unwilling to come back. As a mother, how could she not feel heartache for the flesh that fell from her body? Yi Juetian still decided not to say the exact words. Big brother, you still haven't mentally prepared yourself, right? Just accept it. After all, my appearance was very unexpected. That's true. After all, your big brother has been wandering outside for thousands of years. I can understand. Although Lu Jing said so, she felt a little sad in her heart. However, at this moment, the sound of hurried footsteps came from the door. Bang! The door was pushed open by a man, and Yi Juetian immediately stood at the side and respectfully called out, Lord Father. That's right, the person who came was the patriarch of Yi family, Yi Shan, who was also Yihua's biological father. Yi Shan's physique was well proportioned. He wasn't very muscular, nor was he very skinny. His facial features were excellent, but they were currently covered by a layer of anger. Standing behind Yi Shan was the 3rd brother, Yi Chen. The Yi family guard stood at the door, as if waiting to arrest someone. Yi Shan glanced at Lu Jing, then shifted his gaze to Yi Juetian. Speak. Where is Qian Yuqing? Yi Juetian's heart sank. As expected, it was because of his sister-in-law. I reckon that the higher-ups are pressuring me. Father, how would I know about Qian Yuqing's matter? Yi Juetian slightly lowered his head and replied. At this crucial moment, I definitely cannot reveal any information. Right at this moment, Yi Chen said solemnly. 6th brother. This matter concerns our entire Yi family. 3rd brother, I really don't know. I haven't contacted Qian Yuqing for a very long time already. Yi Juetian said gravely. His tone was filled with sincerity, and it didn't seem like he was lying. Yi Juetian. Father will give you one last chance. Yi Shan shouted out coldly. Yi Juetian didn't have the slightest bit of fear. Towards this biological father of his, Yi Juetian's impression of him was becoming worse and worse. Father, I don't know. Very good. Yi Shan looked towards Lu Jing, then directly walked over. Upon seeing this, Yi Juetian immediately stopped him. Father! What are you trying to do? Scram. Yi Shan directly angrily tossed his son to the side. Yi Chen casually took out a purple rope and tied Yi Juetian up. Yi Shan walked in front of Lu Jing and looked at the woman in front of him. A trace of struggle flashed past his eyes, which was soon replaced by determination. Yi Shan opened the brocade box on the small table, and within it, there were 2 bottles of spiritual spring. Yi Shan directly took them away. Lu Jing just looked at her husband's actions. She didn't stop him, nor did she say anything. Father! You can't do this, that's Mother's life extension spring water. Yi Juetian, who was tied up, roared angrily. I really didn't expect Father to be so heartless to this extent. It's fine if you don't give Mother the spiritual spring water, but you actually took away Mother's spiritual spring water. Now that he had taken away his mother's spirit spring water, he was cutting off his mother's path to survival. Yi Shan walked towards the door and said gravely, Yi Juetian, you better bring Qian Yuqing back for me. After he finished speaking, Yi Shan left the courtyard. Yi Chen took a look inside the house, then casually waved his hand, and the purple rope that was tying Yi Juetian landed in Yi Chen's hands. Yi Shan. You are not human. Pa! Just as Yi Juetian finished shouting, he was sent flying and landed outside the courtyard. Little Tian. Lu Jing shouted in pain. However, Yi Shan's voice rang out in the air. If you are disrespectful again, don't blame Father for punishing you. Yi Juetian wiped off the blood at the corner of his mouth. He clenched his fists tightly, but there was nothing he could do. Little Tian. Lu Jing ran over with small steps, with a look of concern in her eyes. She gently wiped off the blood at the corner of her son's mouth. Mother! Your son is useless. Yi Juetian cried. He hated himself for being useless. He could only watch as his father took away his mother's life-saving medicine, yet he was powerless to do anything. Lu Jing hugged Yi Juetian lightly. Little Tian, this is not your fault, this is not your fault, this is not anyone's fault either. Mother, are you still speaking up for Father? He is trying to force you to death. Little Tian, your father has done enough. Mother is just a burden. Mother also does not wish for you to hate Father, do you understand? But Mother. All right, little Tian, don't call your father by his name in the future. Lu Jing said seriously. This Yi clan's family rules were still very strict. What else could Yi Juetian do? I can only nod my head. Yi Shan, who was walking far away, held 2 bottles of spirit spring water in his hands. His expression was a little strange, as if he was forcefully enduring the pain in his heart. Father, little Tian will understand in the future. Yi Chen stood behind and said softly. Yi Shan stopped in his tracks. His gaze turned deep as he continued walking forward. As the head of the Yi clan, Yi Shan had a lot of helplessness. The entire Yi clan was in his hands. Many of the decisions were not up to him. Yi Shan walked into the front hall. He cupped his hands towards a man in the hall and shouted, "Ninth Prince!" Chapter 974. Of course, this man was Huang Yun. He turned around and asked in a deep voice, "Patriarch Yi, is there any news of Yuqing?" "Don't worry, Ninth Prince." Yi Shan did not say anything and only told Huang Yun not to worry. Huang Yun did not pursue the matter. He understood what Yi Shan meant and nodded. "Bring Yuqing back, and your Yi clan will receive many benefits." "Thank you, Ninth Prince." Yi Shan and Yi Chen cupped their hands. Huang Yun heaved a sigh of relief and walked out of the hall. "Farewell, Ninth Prince." After sending Huang Yun off, Yi Shan sat at the side with a sullen expression. Yi Chen poured a cup of tea. "Father, will Old Sixth know where Qian Yuqing is?" Yi Shan held the teacup as steam swirled around it. Yi Shan did not drink and said indifferently, "Old Sixth must know. Should we send someone to follow Old Sixth?" Yi Chen asked softly. Yi Shan shook his head. I only want the results, not the process. Yi Chen understood, but he still asked softly, Father, Qian Yuqing has never been like this before. Now that she suddenly disappeared, could something have happened? Or does she have some clues about Big Brother? Yi Chen added. Crack. The teacup in Yi Shan's hand instantly shattered, and hot tea splashed onto his fingers. However, this heat was nothing to Yi Shan. There was no joy or disgust in Yi Shan's eyes. Logically speaking, he should be happy. Old third, don't be like your big brother. Do you understand? Yi Shan reprimanded sternly. Yi Chen replied respectfully, Father, I understand. Your brother has brought this upon himself. Yi Shan said in a deep voice. Then he stood up and left. Yi Chen bowed slightly and sent his father off. After his father left, Yi Chen frowned slightly. Big Brother was too outstanding, so outstanding that even his brothers were jealous, not to mention others. Furthermore, Big Brother was very stubborn and not tactful enough, offending countless people. He even dared to offend the emperor for the sake of commoners. His father was very straightforward. Don't learn from Big Brother. If Big Brother had been more low-profile back then, he would not have ended up like this. Actually, in the eyes of those with power, they could guess that the Yi clan's first young master had obstructed many people's interests, so they could only eliminate him. No matter how outstanding a person was, if they did not know how to conduct themselves, they would definitely invite a fatal disaster. Big Brother was a classic example. In fact, in his father's eyes, the Yi family had fallen to such a state because of his eldest brother. On the other side, Yi Juetian naturally went to find Qian Yuqing. If he didn't find Qian Yuqing, his mother's life would be in danger. Lu Jing didn't stop Yi Juetian. She hoped that Xiao Tian would be able to bring Yi Hua back and let her take a look at Yi Hua while she was still alive. That was enough. To Lu Jing, her satisfaction was to see her son. That was all. Yi Juetian secretly found Mute in the boundary room and used the same method to come to the Kangluo continent. In an instant, he appeared at the entrance of Voidless Empire. Yi Juetian immediately rushed towards the imperial palace with an anxious look on his face. Even his eyes were bloodshot right now. However, Yi Juetian discovered that a group of yellow-armored warriors were blocking his way. Ha! The yellow-armored warrior instantly pulled out the blade at his waist and pointed it at Yi Juetian. How could Yi Juetian still care about anything else right now? Two pitch-black broadswords appeared in his hands. Those who block me shall die. The enraged Yi Juetian immediately raised his blade and rushed forward. Yi Juetian had the strength of a supreme, after all, and the yellow-armored warrior was not a match for him at all. Yi Juetian's attack instantly created an opening in his body. Looking at the white figure not far away, Yi Juetian knew that it was his sister-in-law. But why was sister-in-law standing here? Yi Juetian directly flew towards Qian Yuqing. However, at this moment, the yellow-armored warrior seemed to have given up on resisting and continued to lock him down. Within the imperial palace, Dong Fengyue was standing beside Yi Hua, and Zhu Tian was squatting on Dong Fengyue's shoulder. Yi Hua was holding onto a pair of scissors and was trimming a potted plant, while Dong Fengyue was standing at the back and teaching Yi Hua softly. Only by doing so would Yi Hua feel a bit more comfortable. Your Honor, your little brother is coming over. Very quickly, Wei Chang's reminder appeared in Yi Hua's mind. With a gotcha sound, Yi Hua directly cut the flower. Dong Fengyue, who was standing behind him, hurriedly lowered her head and took a step back. Yi Hua didn't say anything and continued trimming. However, this time, he seemed to be absent-minded. At the entrance of the palace, Qian Yuqing turned her head around and looked towards Yi Juetian, then asked confusedly, Little Tian, why did you come over? Sister-in-law you? Yi Juetian walked over to Qian Yuqing's side. Looking at the blood on Qian Yuqing's clothes, Yi Juetian's brows tightly wrinkled. Qian Yuqing laughed lightly. I'm fine, I gave Yi Hua a beating just now, and right now, he is hiding inside and doesn't dare to see me. Yi Juetian naturally knew that Qian Yuqing was just bullshit. My sister-in-law is just too kind. Kind to the point that I can't bear to hurt her. Trust me, Yi Hua will come to a compromise very soon. Qian Yuqing squeezed out a trace of a smile and said, Sister-in-law, I'm afraid that we don't have the time to wait anymore. What's the matter? Imperial Cloud has already discovered that you have gone missing, and right now, the entire spiritual city is on high alert. Furthermore, upon hearing that, Chen Yuqing's expression changed greatly. Furthermore, what happened?
Father took away Mother's spirit spring and told me to bring you back, if not Mother.
Speaking up to here, Yi Juetian tightly clenched his fists. How can there be such a scoundrel husband in this world? He is simply inhumane. Chen Yuqing also knew how serious this matter was. It is definitely Imperial Cloud who is behind this matter. Could it be that this person has gone mad? To actually use such a despicable method. I have indeed underestimated Imperial Cloud in the past. However, the truth was not something that Imperial Cloud requested. He only requested Yi Shan to bring Chen Yuqing back. Chen Yuqing looked at the Imperial Palace. If I were to go back this time, I would most likely not be able to come out, let alone see Yi Hua. Imperial Cloud would definitely be impatient to complete the marriage with me, and if I don't agree to it, Yi Hua's mother would be in danger. However, do I really have to leave right now? I still haven't seen Yi Hua yet. I can't bear to leave. Sister-in-law. Big brother has already changed. He has changed to the point that we don't even recognize him anymore. Yi Juetian was very disappointed with his big brother. In the past, he felt that his big brother would be able to support the family. But right now, his big brother is actually hiding in the Imperial Palace and not coming out. No, your big brother didn't change. Chen Yuqing was firm in her belief. If Yi Hua had changed, I would have already died that night. In the end, it was still him who didn't allow it. In the past, he had already said that if I were to die, he wouldn't allow it.
Yi Juetian suddenly roared out. No!
Big brother has changed. In the past, if big brother knew that mother was being wronged, no matter where he was, he would still rush back.
However, right now, he only knows how to hide in the Imperial Palace and not dare to face reality.
Hearing Yi Juetian's roar, Chen Yuqing hurriedly said, Little Tian, you cannot be so rude. No matter what, Yi Hua is still your big brother. Chapter 975. No, he's not my big brother anymore. I, Yi Juetian, don't have such a heartless big brother. His mother was on the brink of death, but he didn't care. Yi Hua, you're a coward, a coward. Yi Juetian roared in anger. When he thought of his mother's helpless appearance, his heart ached. Right now, the only one who could help his mother was his big brother. But big brother did not come out. He would rather hide in the palace and be a coward. Pa! A clear and melodious sound rang out from Yi Juetian's face. The sound wasn't very heavy, but it was very loud. Yi Juetian covered his face in disbelief. Even Chen Yuqing, who was standing to the side, was amazed. Yi Hua actually hit his younger brother? He had been slapped twice in one day, once by his father, and once by his big brother. Yi Juetian also became impulsive. Yi Hua, if you have the ability, come and slap me in front of me. What kind of man are you to hide behind? Pa! Yi Juetian suffered another slap to his face.
However, Yi Hua's voice rang out in the air.
It's not up to you to make irresponsible remarks when I do things. This voice. How could Chen Yuqing possibly forget that this is Yi Hua's voice? Yi Hua is finally willing to talk. However, Yi Hua's words enraged Yi Juetian once again. You're a heartless fellow. Pa! Yi Juetian suffered another slap to his face.
After being lectured by his big brother once again, Yi Juetian suddenly started laughing loudly, as if he had gone mad.
Big brother. Come on, beat me to death if you can. You ungrateful man. To think that my mother and sister-in-law prayed for you every day, only to receive such heartless treatment from you. I feel indignant for them.
After he finished speaking, Yi Juetian waited for the slap to come, but it never came.
Why aren't you fighting? Keep fighting. Let me tell you, Yi Hua, you owe mother too much. You won't be able to pay me back in this lifetime. Yi Hua snorted coldly. In this world, there is nothing that I, the Supreme Overlord, cannot afford to pay back. That's good. Pay me back the rent. Can you afford it? Rent. When did I ever owe rent? You lived in mother's belly for 10 months. Isn't that considered rent? If you have the ability, then return it. Yi Juetian roared. The voice in the air fell silent. Little Tian, enough. Don't say any more. Chen Yuqing said in a low voice. Sister-in-law, do you think I want to say it? This was an unfilial son. You marrying Huang Yun is better than marrying him. Chen Yuqing's face turned cold. That's enough, little Tian. Hearing his sister-in-law's angry shout, Yi Juetian calmed down quite a bit. As for the sound in the air, it did not ring out anymore. Chen Yuqing and Yi Juetian just stood there without saying anything. As the sky gradually darkened, Chen Yuqing heaved a sigh of relief as if she had made a decision. Yehua, I have to go. Your mother is still waiting for me to go back and save her. Chen Yuqing felt helpless. Instead of waiting here, she might as well do something more practical. Yi Juetian nodded and did not say anything. Going back now was the best outcome. Waiting here was simply a waste of time. However, after waiting for a long time, Yihua still didn't give her any instructions. Chen Yuqing was very disappointed. She sighed lightly, and the two of them directly soared into the sky and disappeared. Right now, Yihua was sitting in the children's palace. He could sense that Chen Yuqing and Yi Juetian had left. Yi Juetian's words were still lingering in Yihua's mind. This kind of rent, I am indeed unable to afford it. Also, Chen Yuqing is going to marry some Huang Yun? What kind of situation is this? At this moment, light footsteps rang out. The person who came was precisely Qingya. Qingya could be seen sitting beside Yihua. Qingya did not say anything and just quietly accompanied Yihua. After a long time, Qingya said, I wonder how the children are doing right now? I really miss them. Yihua looked at the training platform outside of the palace. In the past, he would often see God Yi and Yi Lu exchanging their experiences in martial arts. Meanwhile, Ali and Yen would always accompany him and chat with him. So how could they not miss their children? That is impossible. After all, their children are my blood. They should be doing well. Yihua said faintly. Qingya stretched out her hand and held onto Yihua's hand, then said attentively, Yihua, we are both parents to me, you and the children are my everything. I hope that the two of you are doing well. Hearing this, Yihua did not say anything. Yihua, being a mother is really not easy. You should still remember when Yen was born. I almost died, but I still wanted to give birth to Yen. You should understand what I mean, right? Qingya wanted to tell Yihua that for the sake of her child, a mother is willing to do anything. Yihua still did not utter a word. Qingya didn't want to continue persuading Yihua. After patting on the back of Yihua's hand, Qingya turned around and left. Yihua had already said all that he needed to say. Whether or not it would be of any use, it would depend on Yihua himself. After Qingya walked out of the palace, Donghuang Baiji, who was waiting outside, asked curiously, How was it? I don't know. Why is this Yihua so stubborn? I have to give it to him. Donghuang Baiji said in a low voice. However, just as the two of them were ridiculing Yihua for being stubborn, they suddenly sensed an aura flying towards the sky. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji raised their heads and looked towards the night sky, and a gratified smile appeared on the corner of their mouths. This is our man. This was a supreme being. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were not the only ones who saw it. All of Yihua's subordinates sensed it as well. All of them ran to the entrance of the palace and looked at the night sky. Afterward, they bowed down and shouted out, His honor is mighty. His honor finally thought the same way. All of the subordinates were finally at ease. This is our boss. Not afraid of anything. Not only the subordinates, all of Wuxia Empire soldiers bowed down and shouted out, Long live our emperor! The commoners didn't know what was going on, but they still bowed down and shouted out, Long live our emperor! In the end, Yihua still chose to face the past. This time, Yihua didn't bring a single person with him to God's realm. Yihua was completely relaxed. He was going to scout out the path and make preparations for the future. God's realm. 1,000 residences. Chen Yuqing had already returned, and she had even changed into a set of clean clothes. As for Yi Juetian, he had already returned and directly took the spirit spring from his father's hands. Because, he had already brought Chen Yuqing back. Yuqing, where have you been these few days? Your father has been worried to death about you. Look at the 9th prince, he has also been working hard for you. Chen Yuqing's father, Chen Yi, stood at the side and said earnestly. Huang Yun sat in front of Chen Yuqing, and his expression had eased up by quite a bit. In the end, it was still Yi Juetian who found out where Chen Yuqing was.
Qian Yuqing said in a low voice. I have made father and the ninth prince worried. Yuqing has been walking around Minghuang Mountain these few days. After hearing that, Huang Yun slightly wrinkled his brows. With a smile on his face, Qian said, Yuqing, if you are going to Minghuang Mountain, you have to call the ninth prince as well. Father, Yuqing wants to be alone for a while. Chapter 976. Hearing that her daughter was still so stubborn, Qian turned around and looked at Huang Yun, feeling a bit embarrassed. Huang Yun was a bit angry. That day, I invited you to Minghuang Mountain, but you didn't go. And I went alone. Could it be that you don't want to be with me that much? Uncle Qian, actually Yuqing and I have discussed it. We plan to get married soon, and father has agreed. Huang Yun said. He couldn't wait any longer. He felt like he was going to lose her. Hearing Huang Yun's words, Qian was delighted. This was exactly what she wanted. Her daughter and Yi family's Yi Hua were both in name only. No, they didn't even have a name. After all, they left without completing the wedding. Huang Yun's talent was not any weaker than Yi Hua's, and it was even stronger. The main point was that he was from the royal family, and he might even become the emperor in the future. Her daughter would become the noblest woman in the gods' realm, and she was her father. Qian family would be immortal. That's great. This is Yuqing's fortune. Qian said happily, then looked at her daughter. Qian Yuqing knew that this would happen. Her disappearance made Huang Yun realize that if he didn't keep her by his side, it might happen a second or third time. If I don't agree, what will happen? Offending the royal family would definitely happen. But the main point is who will give me the divine spring. If the royal family doesn't give me the divine spring, wouldn't Yi Hua's mother be waiting for death? What if I agree? Qian family will become the #1 family in Lingdu. Yi Hua's mother will continue to live. My happiness? Compared to Yi Hua's mother, it's nothing. Being able to help Yi Hua with something is also a type of happiness. Yuqing? Yuqing? Qian called out softly. She was also signaling him with her eyes. At this critical juncture, he should not throw a tantrum. For the sake of our family, you must marry. Qian Yuqing knew what her father meant. She looked at Huang Yun and thought of Yi Hua. If Yi Hua came back with her, she would be able to reject him, but Yi Hua didn't come back. So all her assumptions were useless. Give me a few more days to consider. Qian Yuqing said softly, still holding a bit of hope. Qian froze for a moment, then looked at Huang Yun and smiled. This girl is a bit embarrassed, ninth prince, please forgive her. Is 3 days enough? Huang Yun ignored Qian and asked Qian Yuqing. All right. Qian Yuqing agreed to Yi Hua's words. If Yi Hua doesn't come within these 3 days, then I won't be able to do anything about it. In this spirit capital, his strength was still too weak. He could not withstand the massive royal family. When Huang Yun heard this, he was quite satisfied. He stood up and said, Yuqing, rest early. I'll come back in 3 days for your reply. Qian Yuqing nodded. Seeing her daughter nod, Qian was relieved. Ninth prince, let me see you off. As Qian Yuqing watched Huang Yun leave, she heaved a sigh of relief and stood up to return to her room. Yuqing, wait! Qian shouted as she ran over after sending off the royal cloud. Father, is there anything else? Qian Yuqing leaned forward and asked. Qian sighed. Yuqing, I know that you don't like Huang Yun, but right now, the opportunity is right in front of our Qian family. In the past, when you didn't want to marry into the royal family, father allowed you, and when you wanted to marry Yi Hua, father also allowed you. But this time, can you listen to father? Yi Hua is already in the past. You should look forward and accept a new relationship. Hearing her father's words, Qian Yuqing knew that her father doted on her. And Yuqing understands. This is how father's good daughter should be. Go and rest well, then prepare to become a bride. Qian was very happy. Hearing her daughter's tone, she more or less knew that there was a chance. Seems like going out this time is pretty good. It seems like she has thought through a lot of things. I'm just a little curious. Just where did my daughter go? Why did she suddenly think things through? At Yi family. Yi Juetian sat in his mother's room and was currently dripping a drop of spirit spring water. He seemed to be very careful. After all, an extra drop would be a waste. However, Lu Jing didn't put it in her heart at all. Little Tian, Is Yi Hua still not willing to come back? Yi Juetian pursed his lips, then dripped a drop of green spirit spring water into a bowl of clear water. The entire bowl of clear water instantly turned into a green liquid that emitted a strange fragrance. The members of the royal family weren't able to enjoy this spirit spring water every day, but Lu Jing was getting a drop of it every day, and it had been the same for thousands of years. It was simply even more extravagant than the royal family, but it couldn't be helped. This was a life-saving medicine. Mother, Big Brother hasn't thought things through. In order to not let his mother be sad, Yi Juetian still tactfully said. How could Lu Jing not be able to tell that Yi Hua isn't willing to come back this time? Seems like Yi Hua is determined not to come back. How about I go down and take a look at Yi Hua? Lu Jing said lightly. Mother, your body isn't able to withstand the teleportation at all. Yi Juetian said gravely with a trace of blame. Do you really want to see Big Brother that much? But Big Brother doesn't even put you in his heart at all. Lu Jing naturally knew, and she let out a deep breath. Mother, drink the medicine first. Yi Juetian said lightly. Lu Jing nodded her head, then narrowed her eyes and drank the bowl of medicine. After drinking the bowl of medicine, Lu Jing's entire complexion seemed to have become brand new. However, this kind of effect could only last for a day. Every time Lu Jing stopped, it would cause harm. Mother, you rest well. I will take care of Big Brother. All right, little Tian, you rest early too. Yi Juetian cupped his hands, then bid farewell to his mother and casually closed the door. After walking out of his mother's courtyard, Yi Juetian stopped his footsteps. What are you two doing? Yi Juetian asked gravely. Two figures could be seen walking out from the darkness. Number 6. Third brother invites you over. The one who spoke was number 5, Yi Zhe, and the one who was standing at the side with a smile was number 4, Yi Liangkai. Number 4, Yi Liangkai, and number 5, Yi Zhe, had the same mother. And number 3, Yi Chen, and number 2, Yi Yuanqing, had the same mother. However, number 2, Yi Yuanqing, was a woman. Yi Shan only had these 3 wives, yet he gave birth to 5 handsome men, causing others to be envious of him. After all, the gods' realm valued men more than women, with the exception of women who were good-looking. It is already so late. Why is third brother looking for me? Yi Juetian asked cautiously. Number 6, you will know once you go over. Yi Liangkai said faintly, a smile still on his face. However, those who were familiar with him all knew that this smile seemed to be fixed. No matter what he said, that smile would always be squinted into a slit, and the corners of his mouth would always be curved upwards. Yi Juetian didn't feel very good, but if number 5 and number 4 came together, he wouldn't be a match for them. All right. Yi Juetian chose to be wise and not fight with them. Even if he fought with them, he wouldn't be a match for them. Chapter 977. The 3 brothers directly walked out of the Yi clan. Yi Juetian became even more curious. Where exactly were they going? He had even left Spirit Capital. Old 6, don't worry. We're brothers. I won't go so far as to kill you, Yi Liangkai said calmly. Under the moonlight, the smile on his face looked very ghostly. Soon, the 3 brothers arrived at a dilapidated house. A bonfire was lit inside, outlining 2 shadows. It seemed that there was someone else besides the 3rd brother. Yi Juetian had a grave expression on his face as he walked into the dilapidated house. Of course, he recognized Yi Chen's back. This was another person. He didn't expect it to be the 9th prince. Imperial Cloud. Why was he with 3rd brother? 9th prince, 3rd brother, 6th brother is here. Yi Zhe cupped his hands and said solemnly. Then, he and Yi Liangkai stood at the door. Yi Juetian's face darkened as he glanced behind him. It was obvious that he was preventing him from running away. 9th prince, 3rd brother, what's the matter so late at night? Yi Juetian cupped his hands and asked. No matter what, these 2 people were of high seniority. He still had to put on an act. Huang Yun and Yi Chen turned around. Huang Yun didn't say anything, but Yi Chen asked in a deep voice, 6th brother, where did you find Qian Yuqing's disappearance? Ming Huang Mountain. Yi Juetian had already gotten a confession from Qian Yuqing. Ming Huang Mountain was a pretty good excuse. Huang Yun's expression changed.
Yi Chen seemed to have sensed it.
He asked again. Sixth brother. The ninth prince was here. Don't lie.
Third brother, I really didn't lie. I found Chen Yuqing in Minghuang Mountain. Of course, Yi Juetian had to stick to his story. He couldn't let it slip. Yi Chen's expression turned cold.
He shouted. Sixth brother.
You're still not being honest. The ninth prince's men had already searched the entire Phoenix Cry Mountain. There's no sign of Chen Yuqing. Yi Chen was right. Huang Yun knew that Chen Yuqing liked to go to Minghuang Mountain. He also knew why.
That was because of the man in the past.
Therefore, they didn't let Minghuang Mountain off this time. However, they couldn't find Chen Yuqing at all. He didn't want to ask, but he felt that Chen Yuqing had changed a lot since she came back.
She even told such a lie to deceive him.
Then where did he go?
Huang Yun was very curious.
Where did he go?
However, Yi Juetian definitely knew about this. It seemed like this place was very well hidden.
After hearing this, Yi Juetian's expression didn't change. He continued to say, Ninth Prince, Chen Yuqing was indeed found by me on Minghuang Mountain. Yi Chen was puzzled. Why are you not telling the truth? Don't you know that our Yi clan is relying on the ninth prince? Why must he be so stubborn? I've already said that someone has searched everywhere.
Huang Yun asked in a low voice. Yi Juetian, Chen Yuqing is my fiancée. I want to know where she has been these few days. You should be able to understand, right?
It was a warning. Of course, Yi Chen and the others could tell as well. Sixth brother.
Answer the ninth prince's question honestly.
Yi Chen also warned. Don't lie anymore. This is not a good thing for either of us. With just a word from the ninth prince, we can take on important positions, and even father can be reinstated. Although Yi Hua had beaten up Yi Juetian, in Yi Juetian's heart, Big Brother was still Big Brother, and it was normal for Big Brother to teach him a lesson. Besides, Big Brother also lost his memory. Their brotherhood would not change.
Third brother, I didn't lie.
Yi Juetian was still certain.
However, in Huang Yun's heart, the more Yi Juetian said this, the more suspicion he had in his heart. Because if Yi Juetian wasn't willing to say it, then it was definitely because he couldn't say it. Yi Chen, your little brother, come and make him speak.
Huang Yun said faintly. I must find out today. Where did Chen Yuqing go? She even had to come up with a lie. Can Yi Chen reject? He understood that he couldn't reject.
Sixth brother, I will give you one last chance, speak. Yi Chen questioned in a low voice, and that purple rope appeared in his hand once more.
Seems like an Asian binding is going to be used.
Yi Juetian was a man with backbone. Big Brother's tracks definitely cannot be exposed. If not, Big Brother will definitely be in danger. It is at Minghuang Mountain.
Yi Zhe could be seen swinging his hand, and the purple rope tied Yi Juetian up. As expected of an Asian binding, Yi Juetian was tied up tightly. Yi Juetian didn't resist, because he couldn't resist at all. He didn't have any chance of winning.
Third brother, aren't you afraid of the family's law by doing this?
Yi Juetian questioned. Brothers killing each other was a great taboo.
Yi Chen said faintly, if I said that this was tacitly agreed by father, would you believe me?
I believe you, of course I believe you.
Yi Juetian smiled, but this smile was a little desolate.
Right now, the Yi family seemed to be controlled by this Huang Yun. Whatever he wanted the Yi family to do, the Yi family would do. Yi Chen looked at his two little brothers.
Yi Liangkai and Yi Zhe walked over, and a red whip condensed in their hands.
This was simply an Asian binding and whip combination.
However, this wasn't a normal whip. After all, the toughness of a supreme being's body was incomparable. This was a whip that could whip souls, and it was a little similar to Qing Ya's weapon. The only difference was that this whip was a weaker version. Even if it wasn't good to use, it could still make Yi Juetian suffer.
Yi Juetian felt grief in his heart. For an outsider, he actually beat his brother. The Yi family was just like this, simply a trash family. If it wasn't for his mother, he would have left home long ago. He truly didn't want to stay here for even a second longer.
Yi Juetian, speak, and you won't need to be whipped.
Yi Zhe shouted out. Of course, he didn't want to whip Yi Juetian, but he had no choice, as this concerned Yi family's future.
Yi Juetian said faintly, I already told you, I found it at Minghuang Mountain. Pa! The whip that was emitting a red radiance fiercely lashed onto Yi Juetian's back, and pa-pa sounds rang out. After being lashed like this, Yi Juetian felt that he couldn't even stand stably anymore. Pa! Yi Liangkai also lashed out, and this caused Yi Juetian's eyes to roll back. He felt that his soul was about to shatter. Yi Qin asked gravely, "Old Six, why do you have to be so stubborn? What's wrong with speaking? If you have the ability, then kill me. Don't talk so much." Yi Juetian shouted out. "You bunch of naive people, am I, Yi Juetian, the kind of person who would betray my brothers?" Huang Yun took in a deep breath. "Yi Juetian, why are you doing this? Those who go against me, Huang Yun, will not have a good ending." "Humph, those who go against me, Yi Juetian, will not have a good ending either." Huang Yun's gaze turned cold. Pa 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 pa. Yi Zhe and Yi Liangkai, who were standing behind Yi Juetian, started lashing crazily at Yi Juetian. However, their brows were tightly locked, and they would occasionally look towards Yi Chen. They seemed to be asking if this should be enough, right? However, at this moment, Yi Juetian had already fallen onto the ground, and cold sweat could be seen on his forehead. His complexion was also exceptionally pale, and it was clear that his soul had suffered serious injuries. End of this chapter. Chapter 978. But even so, Yi Juetian still didn't say anything. "This is like Big Brother torturing me thousands of times. I feel like my first love for Big Brother." "Enough," Yi Chen said sullenly. If they continued fighting, something bad would happen. They could not continue fighting. Yi Zhe and Yi Liangkai heaved a sigh of relief. They kept their red whips and stood to the side. Yi Chen cupped his hands towards Huang Yun and said, "Ninth Prince, it seems like there is some misunderstanding." "Misunderstanding?" Huang Yun asked indifferently. His eyes locked onto Yi Chen. Yi Chen lowered his head slightly and didn't dare to touch him. He couldn't afford to offend Huang Yun. Huang Yun looked at Yi Juetian, who was lying on the ground, and asked again, "Where has my fiancée been these few days? What has she been doing?" "At Minghuang Mountain," Yi Juetian said softly. Huang Yun's aura instantly changed. His fiancée had disappeared for 3 days. This made him very unhappy. She even lied to him that she was at Minghuang Mountain. This was like adding oil to the fire. It was like he had been cuckolded. He liked Chen Yuqing so much, but what about her? She didn't even tell him what she was doing. She even used such a method to lie. Huang Yun was a rational person, but he couldn't do anything about Chen Yuqing. Who knew who she was fooling around with these few days? A sword condensed in Huang Yun's hand. This was Huang Yun's sword, a primordial divine artifact, Sun Moon divine aura. As Huang Yun's sword, it was definitely not ordinary. It wasn't any weaker than the ones that Yi Hua had. The only difference was the number. Yi Hua had many, but Huang Yun only had one. Sun Moon divine aura was a little weird. On the sword, one side gave off a sun-like light while the other side was dimmer. This was probably the meaning of the sun and moon. However, this sun-moon divine aura felt like it was breathing. It was like a primordial divine artifact that had a life of its own. However, when this sword was taken out, Yi Chen and the others felt pressured. Fear appeared in their eyes. "Ninth Prince, let's persuade him again," Yi Chen quickly said. This ninth prince obviously wanted to kill old sixth. How could he do that? Teaching him a lesson was one thing, but killing him was another. "If you guys can't do it, I'll do it," Huang Yun said coldly. At this moment, it was as if he had turned into a devil, showing no mercy at all. Yi Juetian, who was lying on the ground, slightly raised the corner of his mouth. "Go ahead and kill me. You will definitely regret it." Yi Chen's face sank. What kind of situation is this? Why is he still provoking the ninth prince like this? Do you not want to live anymore? Bang! Yi Chen kicked the ninth prince hard. Then he performed a cupped fist salute and said, "Ninth prince, please calm down." "Humph! I'm afraid I won't be able to rest today." Huang Yun was indeed very angry, and could no longer hide this anger. His killing intent had already surged. Yi Chen looked at his 2 younger brothers. Yi Liangkai and Yi Zhe did not know what to do either. That would offend Huang Yun. Offending Imperial Cloud. Wasn't that the same as offending the entire Imperial family? Then what about the Yi family? However, at this moment, the few people in the room smelled a strange smell and frowned. What is this smell? Those who knew would definitely understand. It was the smell of cigarettes. Yi Juetian, who was lying on the ground, also smelled it. He seemed to have smelled it that day as well. Could it be Big Brother? Zizizi. The shabby door slowly opened, and creaking sounds rang out. The few people in the room looked towards the outside of the room, and their brows tightly knitted together. There was a black figure outside. There was also a spark that was emitting smoke, and the smell was coming out from the spark. The black figure outside seemed to have inhaled a mouthful of smoke, and an even bigger cloud of smoke floated into the room. Second-hand smoke was really harmful. At the very least, Yi Zhe coughed. "Who are you? Don't show off here." Yi Chen shouted out. Huang Yun locked onto this black figure tightly, and he actually didn't notice that someone was approaching them just now. This could only mean one thing: this person's strength. I'm afraid that this person's strength is above mine. Just who is this person? You all are finished. Yi Juetian, who was lying on the ground, weakly suddenly laughed. Everyone was very confused about Yi Juetian's words. The human figure gradually walked into the room. Yi Chen, Yi Liangkai, and Yi Zhe looked at the human figure that walked into the room, and their pupils gradually narrowed. Astonishment could be seen on their faces, and there was even a type of even deeper fear. Big brother. Yi Chen cried out involuntarily. He was astonished to the point that his words were even stuttering. Yi Zhe and Yi Liangkai were the same as well, but they were astonished to the point that they even had trouble speaking. From the shape of their mouths, it seemed like they wanted to shout out. However, they were unable to shout out. How could this man in front of them possibly appear again? This is definitely not possible. When Huang Yun, who was at the side, heard Yi Chen calling out Big Brother, he immediately knew who this person was. I didn't expect that this person was the genius from 1,000 years ago. Yi family's Yi Hua. Didn't he die already? Why did he appear here again? Could it be the reason why Qian Yuqing disappeared for these few days was to go and meet him? From the looks of it, that is most likely the case. Damn it! Why didn't this man die? Wasn't he supposed to be dead? Yi Chen and the others rubbed their eyes. Even now, they still didn't dare to believe what was happening in front of them. Is this an illusion? Big Brother! Yi Juetian shouted out weakly. Yi Hua smoked his cigarette, then flicked away the cigarette ash and said faintly, "Yi Juetian, you are really useless." Yi Juetian laughed bitterly. "I am indeed useless. Big Brother is right." Yi Chen felt that this strange big brother of his seems to have changed. Although his expression was still cold, his movements were very frivolous and carried a bit of a mischievous aura. However, is this person really Big Brother or not? Yi Hua swept his gaze across the four people in front of him, and when he saw Huang Yun, his gaze stopped. Huang Yun also looked at Yi Hua. The two geniuses from 1,000 years ago and 1,000 years later started looking at each other. Yi Chen stood at the side and did not speak. It was clear that he had not digested this fact yet. Yi Zhe and Yi Liangkai were the same as well. Suddenly, a king's might exploded out from Huang Yun's body, and the entire tattered house was instantly blown flat. Following that, the bonfire on the ground was also blown away. Yi Hua silently looked at Huang Yun. He wasn't interested in this little guy, but towards Yi Juetian, who was on the ground, he was interested in this little guy. "Who hit you?" Yi Hua asked faintly. "Damn it, it feels great to have Big Brother in charge. You all have angered Big Brother. Go and eat shit." "Big Brother, it was them." Yi Hua asked faintly. "Why didn't you retaliate?" "I couldn't win against them. So weak." Yi Juetian was very speechless. "Big Brother, don't attack me anymore. Quickly help my little brother vent his anger. You all bullied my little brother. Looks like I have to properly settle the scores for you all." Yi Hua's tone became gloomy, and his expression started to become unhappy. It is fine for this little brother of his to be taught a lesson by me, his own big brother, but as for the others, who gave you all the guts to do so? Oh my God! Yi Chen and the other two still hadn't come back to their senses. Right now, they really couldn't understand what was going on. End of this chapter. Chapter 979. A long whip suddenly condensed in Yihua's hand, and the whip was emitting black smoke. With just a glance, one could tell that Yihua's products were not ordinary goods. This whip was different from the one he had just used. It was thicker, longer, and black. Just like a snake, it seemed to have scales. "Big brother, what are you doing?" Yichen finally recovered his wits. While smoking the cigarette, Yihua said, "Can't you see it?" The black whip in Yihua's hand didn't even need to be swung. It directly went straight towards Yi Chen. No, lashing towards Yi Chen. Bang! Caught off guard, Yi Chen was instantly knocked into the air. He did not know where he flew to. This would definitely feel good. Yihua looked towards Yizha and Yi Liangkai, who were at the side. In Yizha's eyes, his older brother would never do something like this. The long black whip swept forward with a vicious aura. Bang! Yizha and Yi Liangkai did not resist at all and were both sent flying. "Are you satisfied?" Yihua asked faintly. Yi Juetian endured the pain and stood up. "Big brother, you're the best." Yihua took a fierce look at Yi Juetian, and the latter immediately hid behind Yihua's back. Yihua felt that this was just like how it was in the past. "When I create trouble outside, my big brother would come and clean up after me, and after that, my big brother would give me a good beating." Yi family's young master. Yihua. Seeing you today, I have a whole new level of respect for you. Huang Yun said solemnly. I heard from people in the past that back then, Yihua would definitely not hit his own brothers. However, today, the moment he attacked, he sent 3 people flying. Yihua flicked away the cigarette, but that was in his hand, and the slight sparks drew an arc in the air, appearing very bright in the dark night. "Who do you think you are to dare to speak in front of me?" Yihua said indifferently. Yi Juetian, who was standing behind Yihua, was startled. F***CK. Big brother is so awesome. He was even more awesome than he was in the past. He directly went up to them. Huang Yun clenched the sun-moon divine aura in his hand tightly, and the originally unstable aura gradually retracted. If they were to fight now, it would definitely attract attention. Before they understood the situation, they couldn't be so rash. Huang Yun was a very scheming and steady person. Aside from being a little impulsive earlier, he was much calmer now. This matter had to be considered at length. Yu Yihua is just a past tense. He's nothing now. As the 9th Prince of Spirit Capital, he had his pride. He had already been scolded, so how could he escape? That was impossible. Past tense? Some things can't be changed, just like Chen Yuqing. What did you say? Huang Yun questioned coldly. Yihua said faintly, "Didn't you want to know where Chen Yuqing has been these few days?" Then I'll be merciful and tell you that we've been making up for all these years of separation these past 3 days. I've enjoyed every inch of her skin, and she's enjoyed my man's charm. You! The divine aura of sun and moon in Huang Yun's hand trembled slightly. It seemed to have sensed its master's anger, and the entire sword began to become irritable. Yi Juetian, who was standing at the back, was also speechless. You rejected sister-in-law outside the door, and in the end, you said that you and sister-in-law were enjoying sex together. If sister-in-law knew about this, she would definitely blame you, big brother. It's mine, it will always be mine. Past tense? How can your current style compare to mine? Yihua shouted out lightly, and the black whip in his hand struck towards Huang Yun. Huang Yun did not dare to be careless. The divine breath of sun and moon in his hand directly pierced out. Boom! The 2 ancient artifacts immediately erupted with a huge amount of energy, and all of the trees in the surroundings instantly collapsed. The entire mountain top was razed to the ground, and loud noises rang out from the ground. Even Ling Du could feel the noises coming from the ground. At Chen's house, Chen Yuqing hadn't slept for a long time. Suddenly, she sensed a powerful aura coming over. The teacups on the table began to make noises, and even the ground began to tremble. What happened outside? Chen Yuqing wasn't the only one who sensed it. A lot of big figures in Lingdu also sensed it. This should be the damage caused by the 2 ancient artifacts. However, in the surroundings of Lingdu, who would dare to use ancient artifacts? This was the crime of great disrespect. Countless black figures scuttled out from Lingdu and arrived at the location of the incident. However, other than a pile of ruins, they didn't discover anything else.
Inside Lingdu, Yi Hua was smoking with a cigarette in his mouth, and his expression seemed to be a bit unhappy. Yi Hua originally didn't want to let Huang Yun off, but Yi Juetian said that doing so would attract a lot of people over. Yi Hua had no choice but to leave the scene, and that Huang Yun seemed to be aware of this as well, thus he left as well. As for his 3 brothers, who knew where they had run off to long ago? Big brother, why did you suddenly come? Yi Juetian's injuries had just been taken care of by Yi Hua, so it wasn't a big deal at all. I was just bored, Yi Hua said indifferently. He wanted face too. Yi Juetian grabbed onto Yi Hua's shoulder, causing Yi Hua's brows to wrinkle. To actually dare to grab onto my shoulder, if not for the fact that you are my blood-related younger brother, I would have chopped off your hand. Big brother, do you have any plans for coming back this time? Are you going to acknowledge your ancestors and return to the clan, then marry big sister-in-law? Yi Juetian asked curiously. He felt that Yi family would only be able to flourish in his big brother's hands. Yi Hua said indifferently, do you think that I am that kind of boring person? Then, big brother, what do you plan to do? Just take a look, Yi Hua said gravely. The main reason why he came back was to take a look at his birth mother. He didn't have any other intentions. Yi Juetian's eyes lit up. Big brother evidently came back to take a look at mother. This is a good thing. Big brother. Then what about big sister-in-law? Not interested, Yi Hua said indifferently. He didn't really like Qian Yuqing. But big brother, you just destroyed sister-in-law's innocence. How do you expect sister-in-law to go out and meet people in the future? Yi Juetian teased. He had heard what his big brother had said just now. Huang Yun was going crazy from anger. Yi Hua did not say anything. Just now, he was merely trying to anger Huang Yun, and he did not think too much about it. Actually, sister-in-law is a good woman. Big brother, don't make her angry. She has done too much for mother. For mother, you have to marry her. You don't have to worry about me. Sigh. Yi Juetian sighed deeply. But big brother, you've offended Imperial Cloud this time, which is equivalent to offending the entire Imperial family. If you leave just like that, it will be even more difficult for mother and I to maintain our foothold, and also sister-in-law. Just a small matter, Yi Hua said faintly. Big brother, you're awesome. If you have the ability, then deal with it before you leave. Yi Hua snorted coldly, then continued smoking his cigarette and did not say anything. Soon, the two arrived at Yi family's door. The guard who was standing guard outside the door rubbed his eyes. He didn't drink tonight, so why were there 2 Yi Juetians? Yi Hua and Yi Juetian slowly walked up the stairs. At this moment, the guard was able to see clearly. This expression. How is this possible? This is impossible. How is it possible for Yi family's young master to still be alive? Bang! Right at this moment, the door was pushed open. Yi Shan could be seen walking out with a sunken face, and behind him were Yi Chen, Yi Liangkai, and Yi Zhe. End of this chapter. Chapter 980. Yi Hua looked at the man who walked out of the room and discovered that this man looked a bit similar to me. However, that's all there is to it. Compared to me, this man is simply not on the same level. From Yi Juetian's words, Yi Hua could tell that this father of his seemed to not treat his mother well. Subconsciously, Yi Hua did not have a good impression of Yi Hua, and there was even enmity towards Yi Hua. Yi Shan looked at the man in front of him with a complicated gaze. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Yi Hua was actually still alive, and he even came back. This is too fake. When they heard Old Third's words, they even thought that they had gone mad or were seeing things. Yi Hua had already been dead for 1,000 years. How could he still be alive? But who was this person in front of him? He is my eldest son, Yi Hua? Who are you? Yi Shan asked in a deep voice. He was probably a liar. What a swindler. Yi Hua looked at the man in front of him and remained silent. Yi Juetian walked forward and said respectfully, Father, this is big brother Yi Hua. Did I ask you? Yi Shan shouted out in a low voice and stared fixedly at Yi Hua. Yi Juetian paused for a moment, then retreated to the side. Yi Hua looked on silently and continued to not speak. I'll ask you again. Who are you? Yi Shan's aura could not help but leak out a little,
and the air was immediately surrounded by a murderous aura. Yi Hua finally spoke. However, he asked Yi Juetian, "Who is this old man?" This was obviously done on purpose. After all, Yi Juetian had just called him father. Wasn't this obvious? However, towards this father of his, Yi Hua did not have a single bit of good impression. Back then, Yi Juetian had already said that the reason why this heartless father of his took away his mother's medicine was to find Qian Yuqing. This kind of scum is actually worthy of being my father? If this matter were to spread out, wouldn't I become a laughingstock? Big brother! Yi Juetian shouted out, not understanding what his big brother meant. Was he going to go against the heavens and the earth? Yi Shan was finally unable to endure it any longer. Taking a step forward, a powerful aura was emitted out from Yi Shan's body, causing Yi Hua's robe to flutter crazily. Fighting was forbidden in Spirit Capital. After all, they were all experts. If they were to fight, it would be a huge loss. Yi Shan raised his hand and brought down a biting cold aura. Is he trying to slap Yi Hua's face? Or is he trying to send Yi Hua flying? Yi Hua's gaze turned cold. What guts? How dare you be so impudent in front of me? The main body was only here to represent his previous life. From the moment his original body turned into a skeleton, the previous Yi Hua was already dead. The current Yi Hua was just an undead. It was a supreme being. How could a small fry like you fight him? Yi Shan's palm didn't land on Yi Hua's face, it stopped in the air. Yi Hua didn't make a move to stop Yi Shan's palm, he just stood there motionlessly. At this moment, the surrounding people were all stunned. What was going on? Did something happen? How dare you? Yi Hua said coldly. Yi Shan felt as if his hand was being controlled by something, unable to move at all. Just as Yi Shan was feeling puzzled, a huge force struck him and sent him flying into the Yi clan. Boom boom boom. From a bird's eye view, the Yi family's building seemed to have been dug by someone. Yi Juetian was stupefied. Yi Chen was stunned as well. Yi Liangkai was stunned. Yi Zhe was dumbfounded. As soon as this big brother came back, he beat up his father. Moreover, it was so brutal. The family guards who were standing at the side didn't know what to do. From a professional point of view, such a thing should have happened, but from a rational point of view, they had no chance of winning. After all, even Yi family's family head was sent flying. Even if they went up, they would also be sent flying. Furthermore, this was Yi family's eldest son. It wouldn't be good to beat him up, right? It was only right and proper for the son to beat the father. After all, it was also right and proper for the father to beat the son. Father! Yi Chen came back to his senses and hurriedly ran back. Yi Liangkai and Yi Zhe took a deep look at Yi Hua. They discovered that their big brother had changed. He seemed to have become unreasonable, and he would start fighting with just a single word of disagreement. How could it be like this in the past? It was always others bullying Big Brother, and back then, Big Brother didn't pay attention to them and didn't beat them up. But look at the current situation. Not only did he scold the 9th prince, he even beat up his father. Yi Juetian didn't know what to say anymore. Big Brother beat up father the moment he came back. This is too scary. Big Brother, you have to wipe your butt clean before you can go back. Yi Juetian said in a low voice. Right now, Big Brother is offending more and more people, and in the future, I'm afraid that he will offend even more people. What is there to be afraid of? Yi Hua said indifferently and stepped into Yi family. With this step, it had been 1,000 years, and the last time they met was when they got married. At that time, the entire Yi family was still filled with joy. However, looking at the current situation, there was no such atmosphere, and some of the buildings had even collapsed. When Yi Hua and Yi Juetian walked into Yi family, a group of cavalries arrived at the entrance. All of them were wearing black masks, and they looked very scary. What's going on inside? The leader asked gravely. The family guard cupped his hands and said respectfully, Lord Guard, Yi family's patriarch is currently teaching his son a lesson, and the commotion is a bit big. This Lord Guard didn't think too much and said gravely, if you want to cause a commotion, go outside the city. Yes, I will report. The family guard said respectfully without any temper. However, it wasn't like this in the past. No matter who it was, when they arrived at the Yi family's entrance, they would have to be respectful. These were all bestowed by Yi Hua back then, causing Yi family's reputation to spread throughout the entire god's realm. However, following Yi Hua's fall, this status slowly disappeared as well. Very quickly, this group of cavalries left, and they didn't ask too many questions. It could be that the long period of stability made them feel that nothing would happen, and comfort caused them to let down their guard. Very quickly, Yi Chen found his father who was within the ruins. Right now, Yi Shan's expression was a bit sluggish, as if he didn't dare to believe what was happening before his eyes. He, the patriarch of Yi family, was actually directly sent flying by someone, and it was such a miserable matter. This was something that had never happened before. The main point was that it was his own son. No. It was still uncertain whether or not it was his son. This evil creature, today, I will place righteousness before family. Yi Shan's anger had already reached the peak, and he didn't care about anything else as he released his aura and flew towards Li Jing's courtyard. Because he knew what his eldest son had come back for. Yi Chen and the others didn't know what to say. They were unable to fathom or think. Is this really Big Brother or not? To actually beat up even his own father, this is so terrifying. Yi Hua arrived at the courtyard very early. Yi Juetian was very happy. Big Brother finally came to see Mother. This is a good thing, a very good thing. Standing at the entrance, Yi Hua was a bit nervous, not knowing what to say next. Yi Juetian stood at the side, waiting nervously. However, inside the house, Lu Jing tightly clasped her hands together. That feeling. End of this chapter. Chapter 981. Lu Jing looked towards the shadow at the doorway. Is my Yi Hua back? It must be. It must be. That was great. That's great. Big Brother. Yi Juetian called out softly. Yi Hua let out a breath and placed both of his hands on the door. However, at this moment, a vicious aura appeared in the air. Yi Hua's face sunk, and he casually swung his arm. Bang! Brilliant colors bloomed in the pitch-black night sky. It also brought with it a powerful pressure that shook spirit capital once again. Yi Juetian stared blankly at the fireworks in the sky. It felt like something big was about to happen. For such a situation to occur in Lingdu, he would definitely be arrested. Along with the loud noise, many people felt it. They walked out of their homes and looked in the direction of the Yi family. He thought to himself, is the Yi family crazy? How dare they fight in Lingdu? Aren't they afraid of the emperor's punishment? Just as he finished thinking, an even more savage aura burst forth. This caused everyone to be dumbstruck. Could something have happened to the Yi clan? Otherwise, why would the Yi family patriarch risk his life like this? Qian Yuqing also looked in the direction of the Yi clan and frowned. What had happened to the Yi clan for them to cause such a huge commotion? Tonight was not peaceful at all. However, in the palace of Lingdu, this was the emperor's bedroom. At this time, the emperor had already fallen asleep, and the one sleeping beside him was the concubine who was serving him tonight. There was still a blush on her pretty face, and it seemed that she was satisfied. However, two powerful auras roused the emperor. The emperor opened his majestic eyes and they were captivating. Just this aura alone was enough to tell that this person was not ordinary. What an awesome person. Come. The emperor called out in a low voice. Her ladyship, who was sleeping on the side, was startled awake. She covered her chest with the bedding. Your Majesty, what happened? The emperor didn't say anything. He stood up. The muscles on his body were well proportioned. They weren't explosive and looked very comfortable. Soon, an imperial guard pushed open the door and entered, kneeling outside the curtain. This subordinate kowtows in salute to your Majesty. Long live the emperor. What's going on outside? Your Majesty, two strong auras have appeared in the Yi clan. The emperor was very angry at this moment. He muttered in a low voice. What's going on tonight? Can't you let me sleep? Is this Yi Shan tired of living? Your Majesty, please quell your anger. Let me go and check the situation. The emperor frowned. Go. Yes. Your Majesty, the young concubine on the bed called out sweetly. This actually made the emperor's mood a little better. The emperor slowly sat by the side of the bed. The beautiful concubine was like a snake, coiling around the emperor, her hands caressing his firm chest. Emperor, this concubine will make you comfortable. The emperor patted the young concubine's head. My beloved concubine knows me best. This was the master of spirit capital, Huang Feidi. In this god's realm, he was the emperor. And just now, it was the imperial guard. Sky-bearing. To be able to become the emperor's personal god, one could only imagine his strength. The sky-bearing empire received the emperor's decree and flew towards the Yi family with the three of them. It had to be said that the sky-bearing empire was rather dashing. His golden armor even reflected light in the night sky. It was as though he was telling everyone that he, the imperial bodyguard, was here. If you were to fight, you definitely shouldn't wear golden armor, as it would attract aggro because it was too glaring. For such a show-off, it was best to kill him directly. Right now, outside the courtyard, Yi Hua and Yi Shan were still confronting each other. The entire courtyard was in a mess, the surrounding walls had all collapsed, while the room behind Yi Hua was safe and sound. Of course, it was protected by Yi Hua. Yi Shan stared fixedly at Yi Hua. In his heart, he was still shocked. This person was actually able to block two of my attacks, and it seems to be so easy for him. Yi Juetian was a bit flabbergasted as well. In actuality, I don't know how strong Big Brother is right now, but looking at how Big Brother is acting right now, Big Brother seems to be very formidable, beating up Father to the point where Father doesn't even have the strength to retaliate. This is really venting my mother's anger, but now that I have beaten up Father, how am I going to deal with it in the future? This is truly a troublesome problem, and there will be people coming from the palace very soon. Tzzzzzzzz. Suddenly, Yi Hua heard the sound of a door opening behind him. This caused Yi Hua's heartbeat to quicken. He was able to remain calm when facing Yi Shan, but when he heard that someone walked out from behind him, Yi Hua wasn't able to remain calm anymore. No matter how much of an undead Yi Hua was, he was still Lu Jing's son in the end. His skeleton was formed in Lu Jing's stomach, and this was an undeniable fact. Without Lu Jing, how would there be Yi Hua today? Of course, Yi Shan's sewing was also indispensable. Lu Jing looked at the back view in front of her, and her eyes immediately became moist. This is my Yi Hua, this back view. This body shape, it is exactly the same as back then. The only thing that has changed is his hairstyle. What a strange hairstyle. However, this is not the main point. This is my son. Yi Hua could feel the agitation in the heart of the woman behind him. This feeling is very strange, just like some of the scenes that I have seen before in the past. I killed someone else's son, and that mother screamed out and charged towards me without a care for her life. At that time, I felt that this woman must have gone mad, and running away should have been the correct choice, yet she actually charged towards me without a care for her life. Back then, I didn't have any thoughts about that kind of feeling, but now. Yi Hua looked at his own mother walking in front of him and opening up her arms. At this moment, Yi Hua seemed to have understood a lot of things. Those mothers swore to protect their own sons with their lives. So this is what family love is? It is indeed different from love. Yi Shan, if you have any anger, come and vent it on me. Don't hurt my child. Right now, Lu Jing suddenly seemed as if she had changed into another person, and she looked extremely similar to those women that Yi Hua had seen in the past, just that all of those women were killed. In Lu Jing's heart, it is fine to treat her however you want, but if you want to kill my son, then you have to step over my dead body first. Lu Jing, get out of my way. He is not Yi Hua. Until now, Yi Shan still wasn't willing to believe that the man in front of him was Yi Hua. In Yi Shan's heart, on one hand, he wanted Yi Hua to come back, but on the other hand, he didn't want Yi Hua to come back. These two kinds of emotions intertwined together, causing Yi Shan to be a bit on the verge of collapse. In the past, Yi Hua was a double-edged sword. He could allow Yi family to rise, but he could also allow Yi family to be destroyed in an instant. Because back then, Yi Hua was too upright. This kind of personality was like a ticking time bomb. What do you know? He is my Yi Hua. Could it be that I don't even recognize my own son? Lu Jing screamed out. After so many years, I finally shouted out. These people are jealous of my Yi Hua, and that's why they are thinking of ways to kill Yi Hua. If it was possible back then, Lu Jing would have taught Yi Hua that he shouldn't be too outstanding, and that he should hide his own excellence, because this world isn't able to contain very outstanding people. Back then, when Lu Jing found out about this point, it was already too late. Thus, when Lu Jing was teaching Yi Juetian, Lu Jing was like this. End of this chapter. Chapter 982. However, Yi Juetian wanted to be a hero like his big brother, and he didn't want to be low profile at all. Unfortunately, his talent wasn't enough, and he was still unable to catch up to Yi Hua. Yi Hua is already dead. He isn't Yi Hua. Yi Shan's voice was trembling a bit. It was unclear what he was thinking right now. Perhaps, Yi Shan was thinking that if this is Yi Hua, then Yi family would be in great trouble, because the royal family wouldn't let Yi Hua off. The one who acted back then was definitely the royal family. No. He is my son. I am 100% sure. After finished speaking, Lu Jing slowly turned around. Slightly raising her head, she looked towards Yi Hua. Although Yi Hua and Yi Juetian looked exactly the same, Lu Jing was able to tell that there was a cold and indifferent aura coming from between Yi Hua's brows. This is my Yi Hua, my son. This was also the first time Yi Hua saw his mother. Compared to what he imagined, his mother seemed a bit different. No matter what, my mother is a deity, and she should be living a life of luxury. However, looking at the woman in front of me, her body was thin, her clothes were simple and elegant, her black hair was naturally messy, and there were even some white hairs on her sideburns. Her entire temperament was very different. However, Yi Hua had never seen that pair of doting eyes before. Even Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji had never seen such a pair of eyes before. This kind of feeling is hard to describe, but it just makes me feel warm. This kind of warmth is very comfortable, just like bathing under the winter sun. Yi Hua saw that his mother in front of him stretched out her hand towards his face. Right now, Yi Hua had two choices in his heart. One was to stop her. The other was to allow it. However, if I stop her, will I make her sad? Even if I am not her son, I can at least make her happy for a bit. Although I am her son in the past. It's just that the things that Yi Hua did in the past are actually being taken care of by me. I really don't know how the Yi Hua lived in the past. He should be very weak, right? Yi Hua guessed correctly. Towards his enemies, the Yi Hua in the past was very fierce, but towards his own people, he couldn't be fierce at all. He could clearly kill them to prevent future troubles, but that kindness of his left behind a seed of trouble. In the end, Yi Hua still allowed it. Mother's hands were different from Qing Ya and the others' hands. The hands of Qing Ya and the others were very tender and smooth. All of them were women who had never done any chores before, and had maintained their hands very well. However, his mother was different. Her palms were rough, but her palms were warm. This caused Yi Hua to feel a new emotion. I, the Supreme Overlord, am rather happy today. This is the feeling of kinship. It is indeed not bad. It was very comfortable. Lu Jing, get away from him. He's here to harm our family. Yi Shan's figure flashed, and he was as fast as the wind. However, no matter how fast a person was, could he be faster than Yi Hua? Wasn't this showing off in front of Guan Yu? Yi Hua could be seen slowly raising his right hand. Pa! It was the divine finger-snapping technique again. This was also one of Yi Hua Jin's most commonly used moves, mainly because it was effective, so he used it more often. When he was outside, he had to remember to snap his fingers. Maybe it would work? Just like now, an unknown red gas had enveloped the air. Yi Shan's body gradually appeared, as if he was trapped in an unknown red gas. No matter how he struggled, it was to no avail. Yi Juetian was dumbfounded. Overlords were divided into low grade, middle grade, high grade, and high grade. Father's overlord strength had reached middle grade, but in Big Brother's hands, he was simply like a monkey. Just how strong is Big Brother? Could it be that Big Brother has already reached high grade overlord? Or could it be that he has already reached high grade overlord? Bullshit. Yi Hua only knows about Supreme Overlord. If there was a title above it, he would definitely put it on. After all, I, the Supreme Overlord, am the strongest. Lu Jing didn't even look at Yi Shan. Her eyes were fixated on her son. Her hands were lightly caressing onto her son's cheeks, and tears were slowly falling down. Meanwhile, Yi Hua looked at his mother who was in front of him, and his right hand was slightly swaying. As the father, Yi Shan was being swung around by his son just like that. Endless rumbling sounds rang out from Yi family, and all of the buildings in Yi family were smashed into pieces by Yi Shan. Meanwhile, Yi Hua continued to wave his fingers, seemingly using this method to wash away the grievances that his mother had suffered for many years. Yi Chen and the others didn't know what to do. Big Brother's change caused them to feel afraid. In the past, They still dared to clamor because Big Brother wouldn't do anything to them. But now, do we dare to clamor? Could it be that we are going to become like Father, being played around by Big Brother's fingers? It is very terrifying. Perhaps it was because the commotion caused by Yi family was very big. A lot of people in Lingdu were woken up by the commotion, especially the big families that lived next to Yi family. Rumbling sounds could be clearly heard coming from Yi family's side. Are they tearing down a family? The Yi clan was really generous. Chen Yuqing was a little unable to stand still. Just what happened to Yi family? Could it be that something happened to Yi Juetian? Yuqing. Just as Chen Yuqing was about to move, Chen Yi's voice suddenly rang out. Chen Yuqing slightly lowered her head. Father! Yuqing, you have done too many things for Yi family. You should have your own life. Do you understand, child? How could Chen Yi not know that her daughter had compromised for the sake of the spiritual spring? However, this is also good. At least there is one thing that can make her daughter compromise. Chen Yuqing listened to the endless sounds coming from far away, then nodded her head. I understand. All right, go back and sleep peacefully. Chen Yi rubbed onto her daughter's head and said with a doting smile. Chen Yuqing turned around and walked into the house, but she didn't sleep and looked at the secret passage at the side. However, looking at the shadows outside, if Father doesn't find anyone after coming in, he will definitely suspect this secret. It is better not to use it. I am really worried about Yi family. Just what happened? Chen Yi stood outside the house and looked towards Yi family's direction, not planning to go and join in the liveliness. In spiritual capital, if one didn't have the confidence, one shouldn't go and interfere in other matters. After all, one would bring trouble to oneself, especially this kind of fight. The entire spiritual capital knew what happened to Yi family, but no one came to watch the liveliness, because everyone's thoughts were the same as Chen Yi's. One can listen to the liveliness, but one mustn't go and watch. If one saw something that one shouldn't know, then it would be hard to say. The water in this spiritual capital is very deep. In Yi family, if one looked down from above, more than half of Yi family's buildings had collapsed, and Yi Shan was like a huge iron ball, crashing here and there. Suddenly, Yi Hua put down his hand and slightly raised his head to look at the night sky. A warrior wearing golden armor appeared. This was, of course, Sky Bearing, who rushed over. Sky Bearing stood in the air and looked at the entire Yi family with a strange expression. Just what is going on? Aren't those the Yi family brothers? What is this Yi family doing? End of this chapter. Chapter 983. Were they all sick? Who was that person? Why does he look like Yi Juetian? No. Yi Juetian was at the side. Then he is. Yi Chan and the rest also saw the arrival of Sky Bearing. There wasn't a single person in spiritual capital who didn't know Sky Bearing. After all, he was the emperor's personal guard and a very popular person. He belonged to the same generation as Yi Hua, and back then, he and Yi Hua were also two heroes. However, Yi Hua's brilliance had completely overshadowed Sky Bearing. This caused others to only know of Yi Hua and not know who Sky Bearing was. It was only after Yi Hua got into an accident that Chang Tian gradually appeared in everyone's eyes, and he climbed all the way to become the emperor's favorite. To the people of Sky Bearing Empire, there was also a shadow in their hearts, and that was Yi Hua. Outstanding people will always attract the jealousy of others. Back then, other than Chen Yuqing, Yi Hua basically didn't have any social connections. He was cold and aloof, but his attitude was the same as now. It was hateful. What he lacked was a girl's liking, but there were none of them. Yi Hua raised his head and looked towards Sky Bearing. Their gazes collided in the air. Yi Hua's incomparably cold eyes caused Sky Bearing's body to tremble. This pair of eyes had appeared in his dreams more than once. She wanted to defeat him, but she had no way to do so, even in her dreams. Wasn't he dead? How could a dead person come back? Sky Bearing could not help but rub his eyes to confirm if this was real. In his heart, he was telling himself that this was fake. This is fake. It can't be true. But no matter how he rubbed it, the demon was still standing there. Even the golden armor on Sky Bearing's body had dimmed quite a bit. It really followed the mood of its owner. Sky Bearing Empire looked at the figure in the ruins. Isn't that Yi Shan? How did he end up in such a sorry state? Chang Tian took in a deep breath and suppressed the fear in his heart. Maybe it wasn't what he thought. Chang Tian and the people behind him slowly descended. Yi Hua silently looked at these people while shielding his mother behind him. Towards this subconscious action, Yi Hua paused for a moment. He began to understand what had happened in the past. It was natural for a son to protect his mother. There was no need to think too much about it. It was the same the other way around. Yi Juetian, who was at the side, was slightly nervous. The sky-bearing empire was not one to be trifled with. However, Yi Juetian had forgotten that right now, Yi Hua was not someone to be trifled with. When his temper flared up, he would behead all of them. Yi Chen did not dare to say anything now. This unfamiliar big brother even dared to beat their own father, much less them. What's going on? Sky-bearing bellowed. I am now an imperial bodyguard of the emperor and not the sky-bearing empire of the past. Even if you are Yi Hua, you are not the Yi Hua of the past. Your return will only make those who hate you even more, because you didn't die. Yi Chen and the others lowered their heads in silence, not daring to act rashly. Sky-bearing frowned. What was the meaning of this? In the past, even if they were in front of Yi Hua, they wouldn't be so reserved, and they would even say that their big brother wasn't Yi Hua. But now he didn't. He didn't dare to say a word. Who are you? Cheng Tian looked towards Yi Hua and asked. Yi Juetian wanted to say something, but he was stopped by Yi Hua. Yi Juetian asked faintly, why do you idiots want to ask the same question? In actuality, don't you all know what's going on in your hearts? Yi Juetian gave him a thumbs up in his heart. My big brother is still the most awesome. Following behind my big brother is so cool. Afterward, Lu Jing, who was behind Yi Hua, slightly wrinkled her eyebrows. Right now, Yi Hua's way of speaking is a bit rude. I have to properly change Yi Hua's attitude. This won't do, I have to be polite. In the past, Yi Hua was just too polite. When Sky-bearing heard Yi Hua's words, his brows wrinkled. Is this really Yi Hua? If not, how would he dare to speak like this? F***CK. Is this really Yi Hua or not? Boom. An explosion could be heard from within the ruins, and Yi Shan's body soared into the sky, then landed on the ground. Unfilial son. Right after Yi Shan's words finished, Yi Shan's body was once again sent flying. This time, he crashed into the ruins and didn't come out again. After Yi Chan and the others saw this, they shivered and didn't dare to say anything. As soon as Lord Father came out, he inexplicably flew out. This was completely unreasonable. Lord Father hadn't even finished speaking. Lu Jing was a bit dazed as well. Why did Yi Hua hit me? Did I see wrongly just now? Yi Hua, what you are doing is wrong. How can you hit me? Even if you want to hit me, you shouldn't do it in front of so many people. Let's just secretly hit your father. Sky-bearing was stupefied. This son hit his father. He hit me so openly. I have never seen such a thing before. Today, my horizons have been broadened. However, here comes the problem. I didn't even notice how Yi Shan was hit just now. Yi Shan had already turned into an afterimage and disappeared. Could it be that after disappearing for so many years, this Yi Hua's strength has already reached an abnormal level? How is this possible? However, what should I do now? Am I going to be beaten up like Yi Shan? I am the Emperor's imperial bodyguard. Even if I give him 100 guts, I wouldn't dare to do this. Yi Hua, you actually dare to hit your own father. Your heart deserves to be put to death. Sky-bearing shouted out towards Yi Hua. Yi Hua said faintly, is that so? I have recently lost my memory, and I can't remember things very clearly. Also, I didn't know how to control my strength when I attacked. It would be bad if I were to injure myself. This persistence was a blatant threat. Yi Juetian felt that his big brother is too arrogant to actually dare to even threaten the Emperor's imperial bodyguard. This is too awesome. When can I be like big brother? Lu Jing was the same. When did Yi Hua become so arrogant? No wonder little Tian said that big brother has changed. This change is too big. Right now, Yi Chen and the others seem to have gotten used to it. They stood at the side and didn't say a word. Do you know who I am? To actually dare to speak arrogantly. I seem to have the right not to know. Which ball are you? To dare to speak in front of me. Not everyone has the right to speak in front of me. You will pay the price. Sky Bearing couldn't help but want to draw out his blade, but just now, Yi Shan was beaten up. Yi Hua took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up. I am watching.
What are you watching?
I am watching how you are going to pay the price. Yi Hua puffed out a mouthful of smoke. Lu Jing felt that the things that Yi Hua smoked were definitely not good for his body. All mothers are like this. No matter how old their son is, they would always take care of him as if he was still a child.
Sky Bearing took in a deep breath.
If this matter wasn't because of Yi Hua, it would be very easy to deal with. This Yi Hua suddenly came back. This isn't a simple matter. Yi Hua was a general in the past. After Yi Hua died, he was directly conferred the title of a brave great general, enjoying all the privileges of the emperor. However, right now, he actually died for no reason. That is, a brave great general who didn't die, enjoying all the privileges of the emperor. Just what is going on? Is he crazy? With this kind of attitude of yours, the emperor will definitely punish you. Just you wait and see. After finished speaking, Sky Bearing left without any hesitation at all.
Yi Hua shook his head.
These deities are all cowards.
Chapter 984.
Just like that, Yi Chen and the others watched as Sky Bearing became more powerful. He was actually so powerful. When he came, he was full of vigor. But after seeing Big Brother, it was like a mouse seeing a cat, instantly terrified.
Are you still an imperial bodyguard? Is this how you behave? Do you still have a bottom line? Do you still have any professional ethics?
Spirits were not allowed to fight. But this was nothing.
Was this not considered a fight?
What was considered a fight? The entire Yi family had become like this. Oh my God! When this Big Brother returns, he will turn the entire spirit capital upside down.
Yi Hua, have you eaten? Mother will go and cook for you.
Right now, Lu Jing didn't care about anything else. With both of her sons by her side, she was already very satisfied. Right now, Yi Hua felt a bit awkward and didn't know how he should reply. Mother, Big Brother and I are hungry. Yi Juetian said happily at the side. With such an awesome Big Brother, who wouldn't like him? He was much more promising than himself. Lu Jing hurriedly said, Mother is going to cook for you and your brother. Yi Hua, wait for Mother. You're not allowed to leave, okay? Yi Hua nodded his head, but did not say anything. Towards Yi Hua's attitude, Lu Jing felt that it was normal. After all, it had been such a long time since they last met, and furthermore, Yi Hua had even lost his memories. Yi Hua watched as Lu Jing left happily. Soon after, he looked towards Yi Chen and the others. Yi Chen and the others shrunk back, not daring to look straight at Yi Hua.
Are you still not going to scram? Are you going to stay here to eat?
Yi Hua said coldly. Yi Chen, Yi Liangkai, and Yi Zhe immediately performed cupped fist salutes and left immediately. They were probably going to look for their unconscious father and think of a solution. This Big Brother was too arrogant. He must protect yourself well. Yi Hua and Yi Juetian walked into the house at the back. Yi Hua sized up his mother's room. Very small, very ordinary. My mother has been living in this kind of broken-down place. It is simply an insult to me. Big Brother, what's the matter? Yi Juetian poured a cup of water for Yi Hua. Yi Hua let out a breath. Has she been living here all along? Right now, Yi Hua still couldn't call her by her name. Big Brother, aren't you going to return the favor? Yi Juetian poked Yi Hua with his buttocks. Yi Hua glared at Yi Juetian. Yi Juetian had an indifferent look on his face. He is my big brother, and we are all brothers. What's wrong with joking around? Was Big Brother going to slap him? Big Brother, ever since you disappeared, Mother has been living here. Apart from me, there's no one else here, Yi Juetian said helplessly. In Yi Hua's mind, he couldn't help but think of his mother just now, and suddenly, his heart felt a bit stuffy. Why don't we bring him down? After staying in Wuxia Empire's palace, this room seemed to be filled with misery and bitterness. Big Brother, you've beaten up Father, and the 9th Prince. You've even offended Sky Bearing just now. Sky Bearing is the favorite of the Emperor. Yi Juetian couldn't help but worry about this. Big Brother had offended a lot of people. It hadn't even been 2 hours. If he stayed for a day, he would have offended everyone. So high. It was so cold. After hearing that, Yihua laughed lightly. They are just a bunch of clowns. You have to get rid of your bad habit of being afraid of trouble. After that, he took out a cigarette and lit it. Big Brother was awesome. Even this action revealed a kind of pretentiousness. No wonder he couldn't catch up with his big brother's footsteps. He was a little behind. Big Brother, let me eat. Yihua took out a cigarette and passed it to his little brother. This is called smoking. Smoke. It sounds amazing. Yi Juetian lit the cigarette and took a breath. He immediately choked. Seems like even supreme beings can't take it. It's not easy to smoke. Yi Juetian frowned and said. Yihua shook his head. What does a young man like you know? It's a kind of loneliness. Yi Juetian looked at his big brother. He didn't understand, but he felt that it was awesome. As expected, this was something that he couldn't learn. Big brother, little brother has learned it. Yi Juetian imitated Yihua's expression, deep and depressed. Yihua said calmly, you still have a lot to learn in the future. Big brother, please enlighten me. Sure. Suddenly, the door was pushed open. Yi family and Yi Juetian smoked as they looked at Lu Jing, who entered. Right now, the small room was filled with fog. It was simply like heaven on earth. What are you two brothers doing? Lu Jing shouted, looking like she was scolding her sons. Yi Juetian's hand trembled, and he immediately extinguished the cigarette. He had a deep hatred towards them. Yihua stealthily stepped on the cigarette and extinguished it, then said gravely, Yi Juetian, don't give me these things in the future. They are very harmful. Yi Juetian. Lu Jing directly looked towards Yi Juetian. Little Tian, how can you be like this? When your big brother comes, you immediately act recklessly. If anything happens to your big brother, I will beat you up. Yi Juetian. Yihua sat at the side and didn't say anything. Yi Juetian looked at his big brother, then looked at his mother. You two are bullying me. Yihua, your little brother is very mischievous. In the future, properly take care of your little brother. Lu Jing placed the cooked dishes on the table. In Lu Jing's heart, these were Yihua's 3 favorite dishes. Shredded pork with green pepper, spicy tofu, red braised pork. Yihua looked at the dishes that his mother cooked, and his heart felt warm. These dishes were much better than what Qingya and the others cooked. Lu Jing scooped a bowl of rice and placed it beside her son. Yihua, try it. It has been a very long time since mother cooked. Yihua answered, then picked up the chopsticks and tasted the food. This feeling. Why does it feel just like when I ate Auntie's fruit jianbing back then? That warm feeling. I am willing to be nagged by her. It has been a very long time since I had this kind of feeling. Yihua just likes to lie to himself and look for that warm feeling from Auntie's place. It's just that I don't want to admit it. Towards familial love, Yihua had a look of indifference, but in actuality, what he hoped to obtain the most was familial love. Is it delicious? Lu Jing asked tenderly. Her beautiful eyes were filled with love, seemingly afraid that the child would starve. It's delicious, Yihua said with a gloomy tone. His heart was very touched. Eat more then. In the future, mother will cook for you every day. Lu Jing's smile was about to blossom. This is too blissful, too satisfied. Yihua nodded his head and slowly ate the food. It's so fragrant. Mother, what about me? Yi Juetian asked blankly. This is simply the rhythm of wanting a big brother and not a little brother. Mother, you can't be so biased. Little Tian, what are you doing here? Quickly go and pour some water for your big brother. My mother, hurry up, mother is really too fond of you. Yi Juetian was very speechless. This mother is being biased way too openly. Right now, Yihua was very happy. I haven't been this happy for a very long time. However, when there are people who are happy, there are people who are tragic. Yi Shan belonged to the tragic category. There was also Sky Bearing. Right now, Sky Bearing hurriedly rushed over to the Emperor's sleeping palace. Your Majesty, something big has happened. The lights in the room were on, but there was no reply. Chapter 985. Sky Bearing raised his head slightly. The Emperor's bedroom is still lit. He shouldn't be asleep yet. Emperor! Something big has happened. Sky Bearing's voice couldn't help but become louder. We must wake up the Emperor. After shouting, Sky Bearing lowered his head, and beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. Even now, he still felt as if he was dreaming. That damned Yi Hua, why is he still alive? Why didn't the heavens take him away? Why are they still letting him appear? What are you making noise for? What big matter has happened? Am I going to die? Huang Feidi's voice rang out in the bedroom. His tone was filled with deep dissatisfaction, as if he was interrupted. Following the Emperor's words, Sky Bearing could hear the dissatisfaction of a woman, the coquettishness, as well as the Emperor's consolation. Emperor, this subject has an urgent matter to report. It is extremely urgent. Sky Bearing hurriedly shouted. A cold snort sounded from the room, and not long after, the door in front of the Sky Bearing Empire opened. Sky Bearing bowed and walked in with small steps. Huang Feidi was wearing a white robe and sitting in the study room, pouring himself a cup of water. You have disturbed my mood today. If you don't have a sufficient reason, you should know what the consequences are. Huang Feidi didn't even look at Sky Bearing as he said slowly. Accompanying the Emperor was like accompanying a tiger. There was no such thing as an eternal favorite. Sky Bearing immediately knelt beside Huang Feidi and said respectfully, Emperor, please forgive me, this subject is useless. I asked you to go to Yi family to take a look. How can you say that you are useless? Could it be that Yi Shan dares to make things difficult for you? Huang Feidi questioned. Sky Bearing took a deep breath and crawled even deeper. Emperor, it isn't Yi Shan from Yi family who is making things difficult for this subject. It is Yi Hua from Yi family. Huang Feidi snorted. Yi Hua. Looking at the Emperor's expression, it seemed like he hadn't remembered. However, just when he was about to drink the water, Huang Feidi froze and looked down at Sky Bearing. What did you just say? Emperor. Yi family. Yi Hua didn't die. He is back. A crisp sound rang out. The teacup in Huang Feidi's hand fell to the ground. This wasn't because he was frightened, but because he was shocked. As the teacup broke, many people dressed in black could be seen rushing out from all directions. These were the people who were protecting the Emperor in the dark. Back down. Huang Feidi shouted lightly. Yes. In the blink of an eye, they all disappeared. Seeing such a huge reaction from the Emperor, Sky Bearing was also a little flustered. He did not understand why the Emperor was like this. Was he afraid? Or was it because of something? You're right. The eldest young master of the Yi family, Yi Hua? Huang Feidi leaned forward and asked solemnly. Sky Bearing didn't dare to look straight at Huang Feidi. He lowered his head and said sincerely, That's right, it's that Yi Hua. Hearing this answer, Huang Feidi slowly closed his eyes. This damnable Yi Hua. Why is he not dead yet? Didn't he die back then? Why did he come back? Tell me everything you saw tonight. Yes. Hearing Sky Bearing's narration, Huang Feidi's gaze gradually turned grave. The moment this Yi Hua came back, he beat me up, and he even tore apart more than half of Yi family. Is this still the Yi Hua of the past? Huang Feidi laughed lightly. To think that Yi Hua would actually lose his memories. This Yi Hua is rather curious. This kind of thing is really interesting. However, Yi Hua, you should not have come back. Many people will be unhappy with your return, including this Empress. You can leave now. Yes. Sky Bearing respectfully left. No matter how powerful he was just an imperial bodyguard. To put it bluntly, he was just a bodyguard of the Emperor. It was just that simple. There were some important matters that Sky Bearing didn't even have the chance to be involved in. How could Huang Feidi, who was sitting in the study room, still have the mood to be intimate with a woman? Towards Yi Hua's sudden appearance, he was caught unprepared. Men! Huang Feidi shouted out gravely. Sky Bearing, who just walked out, walked back in. Your Majesty! Call Shan Junren over. Yes. Shan Junren was the Prime Minister of Lingdu. His position was very high, and there was a saying that he was only below one person and above tens of thousands of people. Among the three great families of Lingdu, other than the Qian family, the Shan family was the same. Your Majesty, that beautiful concubine could be seen walking over leisurely with her soft tongue licking the corner of her lips. How could Huang Feidi have the mood to deal with such things right now? He said softly. You can return first. Your Majesty, the concubine continued acting coquettishly. It seemed like she still wanted to obtain the favor of this deity realm's emperor. What an honor that would be! If I can give birth to a boy, my status would instantly rise. This is a rare opportunity. Huang Feidi's expression sunk. I don't want to say it a second time. The concubine was startled and immediately said respectfully, This concubine shall take her leave.
Your Majesty, rest early.
Huang Feidi nodded and waved his hand. The concubine left with a disappointed expression. She was truly reluctant to part with Huang Feidi. Huang Feidi slowly closed his eyes and pondered. This sudden news was truly hard for him to accept. Right at this moment, a black figure slowly condensed in the air. It was a man wearing a black cloak, and his face couldn't be seen clearly. Huang Feidi took a look and said faintly, Jackdaw is here.
Yes, Your Majesty.
This jackdaw's voice was a bit hoarse, and it made one feel uncomfortable. However, when this jackdaw saw Huang Feidi, he didn't kneel down. Instead, he acted respectfully. Wait for Prime Minister.
Huang Feidi said faintly.
Yes. After about the time it takes to brew a cup of tea, Shan Junren finally arrived. This subject greets Your Majesty. Shan Junren was a white-haired old man. However, to a deity, this was nothing more than a bag of skin. If it was possible, Shan Junren could also turn into a young fellow. It was just that he wasn't willing to do so. You may rise. Thank you, Your Majesty. After Shan Junren stood up, he greeted Jackdaw who was beside him. Jackdaw nodded his head in response. Huang Feidi said gravely, Yi Hua is still alive. Hearing this, Shan Junren was clearly startled. On the other hand, Jackdaw's reaction was rather normal. There wasn't much fluctuation in his emotions. Your Majesty, could it be that the commotion tonight was caused by Yi Hua? Shan Junren asked gravely. Huang Feidi didn't answer Jackdaw's question. What I'm curious about is the already dead Yi Hua. Why did he suddenly return? Is this a fake? Shan Junren tightly furrowed his brows. In his heart, he was extremely shocked. The Yi family's young master is actually still alive. This is impossible. As he thought about this, Shan Junren looked towards Jackdaw. However, Huang Feidi also looked towards Jackdaw, seemingly waiting for Jackdaw's confirmation. Jackdaw said softly, Your Majesty, Prime Minister, back then, I personally saw the demon emperor kill Yi Hua. I threw his corpse into the Tao Ocean. I'm absolutely certain of this. End of this chapter. Chapter 986. Then you shouldn't have come back. The sea of the path is boundless, and humans can't survive in it. Shan Junren whispered. He knew what Jackdaw was trying to say. Jackdaw wanted to kill Yi Hua without giving him any chance to live. Jackdaw said in a low voice, Perhaps this Yi Hua is fake. Okay, if it's fake, then it's easy. But what if it's real? How should we deal with it? This emperor does not wish to hear my people shouting for someone other than the imperial family again. Huang Feidi said coldly. The memories of the past were still fresh in his mind. At first, he didn't pay much attention to it, but soon, the cheers grew louder and louder, even surpassing him, the emperor. His achievements overshadowed the lord. His achievements overshadowed his masters. Furthermore, this Yi Hua really doesn't know how to conduct himself. Does he really think that he is the emperor? To think that he is even going to stand up for my people, who gave him the guts to do this? Leaving someone like that alive would definitely be a disaster, so they had to think of a way to get rid of him. It had to be said that their luck was quite good. Yi Hua had died at the hands of the demon emperor. Originally, Jackdaw had been the one to finish him off. That would have been perfect. Shan Junren said gravely, Your Majesty, if this Yi Hua is real, then it will be a very big trouble. It's even more troublesome than back then. Prime Minister is right. After Yi Hua's death, in order to show his benevolence, His Majesty conferred Yi Hua the title of Great General Shan Yong, allowing him to enjoy all the privileges of the emperor. However, now that Yi Hua has returned alive, this means that he is a living Great General Shan Yong. Using the words of His Majesty back then, you are on equal footing with him. Jackdaw's words caused Huang Feidi's expression to become even more gloomy. Who knew that Yi Hua would still be alive? What does it matter to confer a title on a dead person? The problem was that the dead man had returned. So, let me ask you, is there any way to solve this problem? Huang Feidi questioned coldly. He was very vexed and depressed. This is simply lifting a rock and dropping it on my own feet. Back then, why did I confer the title of Shan Yong Great General for no reason, and even said those words? Although the effect was not bad, but now. Your Majesty, this subject feels that we should quietly observe the situation and see if this Yi Hua is real or fake. I believe that Yi Shan will definitely be able to verify it. Shan Junren suggested. Rather than making wild guesses, it was better to see how others would make their first move. After that, he would be able to see what would happen next. Jackdaw, tell me, said Huang Feidi in a low voice. Jackdaw took a deep breath. Your Majesty, I have a plan. Tell me. Huang Feidi's interest was piqued. Your Majesty, I'm sure you know about the 9th Prince and Qian Yuqing. Huang Feidi instantly understood. Prime Minister, what do you think of this matter? Huang Feidi asked. Shan Junren pondered for a bit, then said respectfully, Your Majesty, Qian Yuqing and Yehua's wedding is not considered complete, but after all, it has been 1,000 years. The 9th Prince's matter has long been spread in the city. Everyone is very optimistic about the two of them. As he spoke up to hear, Shan Junren paused for a moment, and then said with a cold tone, If Your Majesty wants to use this opportunity to get rid of Yi Hua, then you must announce the marriage between the 9th Prince and Qian Yuqing to the God's realm before everyone knows that Yi Hua has returned. Jackdaw nodded. If Yi Hua dares to act recklessly, the Emperor has 100 ways to punish him. Of course, the precondition is that Yi Hua is still thinking about Qian Yuqing. Good. Huang Feidi clapped his hands and stood up. As long as I don't get rid of this Yi Hua, he will be a thorn in my heart. Tomorrow morning, I will announce the marriage between Yun and Qian Yuqing to the world. Huang Feidi originally cared about this matter. After all, Qian Yuqing used to be Yi Hua's woman. Although she didn't marry him, they still had a relationship. However, Huang Yun was the son he valued the most. If his son liked her, how could he not allow it? However, right now, it wasn't a matter of liking or not. He just wanted to use this matter to make Yi Hua rebel. That way, he would have an excuse to get rid of this brave general. Everyone would have nothing to say. When the time came, they would even shout that the emperor was wise. Since the matter was decided, Huang Feidi immediately wrote an imperial edict and handed it to the manager. Tomorrow morning, he would announce it. Shan Junren and Jackdaw left one after another. Meanwhile, Huang Feidi went to Huang Yun's sleeping quarters to check on the situation. Your Majesty has arrived. A sharp voice rang out. Huang Yun wasn't sleepy at all. He was sitting on a chair in deep thought. When he heard the voice outside, he immediately got up and went to welcome the emperor. Your son greets father. Huang Yun respectfully shouted. You may rise. The father and son walked into the room. Huang Yun stood beside Huang Feidi and asked respectfully, Father, it is already so late. Do you have any instructions? Yun, tomorrow, the marriage between you and Qian Yuqing will be announced to the world. Huang Feidi went straight to the point. Huang Yun's gaze shook, and joy immediately appeared on his face. He hurriedly kneeled down and thanked, Thank you, father, for helping me. You should have met Yi Hua, right? Huang Feidi asked confusedly. Huang Yun, who was kneeling on the ground, trembled. After a while he said gravely, I have met him. How do you feel? Huang Feidi asked. Very strong. Huang Feidi laughed lightly. He is indeed very strong. After returning, he even dared to beat me up. However, this time, father will not let him off. You should understand what I mean, right? Huang Yun wasn't an idiot. When he heard his father mention Yi Hua, he immediately understood why his father was so anxious. If Yi Hua was to be announced to the world before everyone knew about it, then Qian Yuqing would be a woman of the royal family, and he, Yi Hua, would be nothing. If you dare to touch a woman of the royal family, you will be surrounded and attacked by the entire God's realm. Father, I understand. I will listen to father's arrangements. Huang Feidi was very gratified. He stood up and patted on his son's shoulder. Prepare to be the groom. Yes. To be honest, back then, even Huang Feidi wanted to marry Qian Yuqing, But in the end, Chen Yuqing was snatched away by Yi Hua. Does this count as letting the son obtain what the father can't obtain? Son respectfully sends off father. Looking at his father leaving, a happy smile finally appeared on Huang Yun's face. This Yi Hua's appearance is rather good, to actually be able to make father agree to it. I thought that I would have to persuade father bitterly. Upon thinking that tomorrow was coming, Huang Yun was unable to conceal the excitement in his heart. Meanwhile, in Yi family, Yi Shan was finally woken up by Yi Chen and the others. Evil creature. I am going to hack him into pieces. The moment Yi Shan opened his eyes, he shouted out explosively. Lord Father, don't be impulsive, you won't be able to win against Big Brother. Yi Liangkai pulled onto his father and told him the truth. Yi Shan froze, and the scene from earlier replayed within his mind. I actually can't even win against my son, and I was even thrown around by my son. Yi Chen discovered that his father's back view had suddenly become much older, and he hurriedly said, Lord Father, what should we do now? End of this chapter. Chapter 987. Yi Shan looked up at the starry sky. After a long time, he said indifferently, Tomorrow, I'll go to the palace to meet the emperor. It seemed like his father was going to ask the emperor for help. This was also a good thing, but he was afraid that Big Brother would even dare to beat the emperor. Then the whole Yi clan would be buried with him. No. Right now, Big Brother can also be counted as a kind and brave great general. Back then, the emperor had even personally said to me that in the future, I will be addressing Big Brother as my brother. There won't be any distinction between us. At that time, when everyone heard it, they had even loudly praised the emperor for being wise. Now that Big Brother was back, could it be said that he was on equal footing with the emperor? Father, don't get agitated. Yi Chen quickly shouted and said what he was thinking. Yi Shan calmed down a lot after hearing this. Third brother was right, but this matter still had to be discussed with the emperor. Back then, he had already implicated the Yi clan once. This time, he must not let him implicate the Yi clan again. Yi Liangkai and Yi Zhe stood at the side without saying a word. They were digesting what had happened tonight. Now, Big Brother had become a figure that could not be provoked. In the past, Big Brother could still be provoked, even if it was just a few words. But look at his father. He hadn't even started talking and was already being beaten up by his big brother. How terrifying. Right now, Yi Hua still didn't know that the emperor had already started scheming against him. Yi Hua also didn't care about those things. To the god's realm, he was just a passerby, and the food that mother cooks is rather delicious. In the future, I will let Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji learn how to cook. Thinking up to here, Yi Hua became puzzled. Why do I want Qing Ya and Donghuang Baiji to learn from each other? Could it be that I am planning to bring my mother over to Wuxia Empire? After finishing the 3 dishes in front of him, Yi Hua was very satisfied. Yi Juetian, who was sitting at the side, was also very happy. When Lu Jing saw that her son had eaten all the food she had cooked, she was very happy. She hadn't felt this kind of happiness in a long time. It could be said that she had fulfilled one of her wishes. Little Tian, clean up. Yi Juetian looked at his mother. This change happened too quickly, catching him off guard. He was unable to react at all. Mother is too biased. Doesn't she know that the little one is actually very hungry too? Yi Juetian had no choice but to pack his things and walk out of the house. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. His mother was calling him away and telling him not to be a third wheel. This is so miserable. Right now I am the third wheel. Within the room, Yi Hua's heart was a bit nervous. The woman in front of me is both unfamiliar and familiar at the same time. Right now, I basically don't know what to say. Chat. He didn't seem to have anything else to talk about. He still wanted to call her mother, but he wasn't ready yet, so he couldn't bring himself to do so. Yi Hua's hands that were placed on the table were held by Lu Jing. Facing such an action, Yi Hua's entire body trembled. Yi Hua, it's great to be able to see you back again. Lu Jing said with a satisfied smile as she lightly rubbed the back of Yi Hua's hand, feeling the feeling of the past. Yi Hua did not say anything. Lu Jing did not blame Yi Hua. After all, Yi Hua had lost his memories right now. Perhaps, Lu Jing might feel that it was a bit strange, but they were, after all, mother and son. After interacting with each other for a long time, That feeling that she had not felt for a long time would appear again. Actually, in Mother's heart, there are two things that have always been on my mind. Right now, one of the things has already been completed, and there is only one thing left. While speaking, Lu Jing looked at Yi Hua with an unusual smile on her face. Yi Hua felt as if he was going to sell his main body out. Yi Hua looked as if he was going to sell his main body out. Lu Jing laughed tenderly. Yuqing is a good girl. Yi Hua, you can't let others down, do you understand? Right now, Mother only has one request, and that is for you to give Yuqing a perfect ending. I already have a wife. Yi Hua said faintly. Towards Qian Yuqing, I don't know what kind of feeling I have. If this woman is to be a collectible, this woman is indeed worth collecting, but if it is love? I feel that it has not reached that stage yet. This Qian Yuqing really likes me in the past. It is a pity that I am no longer the same person in the past. This is destined to be an ill-fated relationship. Seems to be a bit too much. If I collect them together with Daji, I can still consider it. However, it is definitely impossible for someone like Qingya and the others. I don't have any feelings for Qian Yuqing at all. Yi Hua was also lying to himself. If I really don't like Qian Yuqing, why did I save her that day in the Imperial Palace? I even took advantage of her and hugged her. One must know that Yi Hua is also a man who has mysophobia. Normally, Yi Hua wouldn't even touch a woman. For Yi Hua to touch a woman, that woman must definitely be an outstanding beauty. After listening to what Yi Hua said, Lu Jing let out a light sigh. Yi Hua, after being away from home for so many years, it is normal for you to have a wife. However, Mother wants to tell you that Yuqing has sacrificed too much for you. You cannot break her heart, do you understand? With so many people saying that Qian Yuqing sacrificed too much for me, even I, the Supreme Overlord, believe it. In actuality, Yi Hua naturally believed it. For the sake of meeting me, this woman is not even afraid of death. It would be a lie to say that I am not touched. However, I am still a man. Do you think that I will let you chase after me so easily? Wouldn't that make me seem very frivolous? Furthermore, even if you want to chase after me, you have to spend some time with me first and let me see if you are worthy of being a wife or not. Recently, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji have become a bit too arrogant. My sister-in-law is still the best. She can just run out of the house and make me worry a lot less. Looking at her son who was in a daze, Lu Jing asked gently, Yi Hua, did you hear what Mother said? Yi Hua went into a daze for a moment, then said with a doubtful tone. However, Lu Jing didn't hear what Yi Hua said and thought that Yi Hua had agreed to it. Lu Jing immediately laughed. Yi Hua, you are truly Mother's good son. For Yuqing to have a husband like you, she will definitely be happy for the rest of her life. Her efforts have finally been rewarded. Yi Hua looked at his mother blankly. What did I just say? Chinese characters are broad and profound, and different pronunciations represent different meanings. Even the same word is different in different places. For example, F***K. This word is too profound. Even I like it. Who doesn't like flowers and plants? You humans with problematic thoughts, I am still pure enough. However, I really didn't say that just now. Yi Hua, have a good sleep tonight. After that, go and look for Yuqing tomorrow. Do you know, other girls have already waited for you for thousands of years. Don't let them continue to wait. Mother feels sad when I look at Yuqing. Yi Hua didn't know what to say anymore. Reject me now? My words are of enormous weight, and not even 100 undead Kuan can pull me back. However, didn't I say that just now? This is a combination of contradictions. Ah, big brother, you finally thought it through. Sister-in-law has finally waited for this day. This is truly great. At this moment, Yi Juetian suddenly ran out and cried out in surprise. End of chapter. Chapter 988. Yi Juetian continued. Big brother, you are really something. If you like her, then so be it. You even locked sister-in-law outside for a few days. Don't you feel heartache? Ah, Yi Hua, you locked Yuqing outside? What's wrong? Lu Jing asked hurriedly, thinking that they were having a conflict. Yi Hua took a look at Yi Juetian, and Yi Juetian immediately had a bad feeling. Little Tian. Sigh. Even Yi Hua himself was unable to say it out loud, and thus, He could only speak with this kind of tone that was hard to speak out.
Yi Juetian was stupefied.
Big brother. Your framing and framing are truly at the point of perfection. Lil Tian, tell mother why your big brother and sister-in-law had a conflict. Was it because of you?
Lu Jing asked sternly.
She thought that Lil Tian was still so immature. Yi Juetian felt that he wasn't a match for his big brother. In the past, his big brother didn't even have this kind of brain. He was just a simple-minded person. Big brother felt that his IQ had increased. With just one sentence, he could make his mother scold him. Mother, have a good chat with big brother. I'll go back and rest first. Bye.
Little Tian. Little Tian.
Lu Jing called out softly. How could Yi Juetian dare to stay any longer? A trace of an arc appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. However, when his mother turned her head around, that trace of arc immediately disappeared, and Yi Hua became the cold and aloof Yi Hua.
Yi Hua, live well with Yuqing in the future. Do you understand? Mother will be at ease then.
Sigh, seeing that mother is persuading me like this, I will reluctantly accept it. This is truly unbearable.
Yi Hua replied lightly.
Lu Jing's face was brimming with a happy smile, and her face was filled with gratification. Yi Hua, when you have time, bring your wife over and let mother take a look at her.
Okay.
In actuality back then when he was talking to the aunt, his attitude was basically the same. Just that he didn't say anything. Lu Jing could finally put down the stone in her heart.
That was great.
Yi Hua suddenly thought of something and said lightly, I still have 4 children.
After hearing that, Lu Jing was startled.
Then, she grabbed onto Yi Hua's arm with both of her hands. Really?
Quickly bring it over and let mother take a look.
My God, I have actually become a grandmother, this is great. Yi Hua actually has 4 children.
I wonder if they look like Yi Hua or not. Yi Hua's hand moved, and a photo appeared in his hand.
Lu Jing picked up the photo with doubt and looked at the family of 8 in the photo. The 4 children were standing at the front with smiles on their faces. Yi Hua was standing in the middle, and on his left and right were 3 women, and all of them looked very beautiful. His son had good taste.
And these children, they look so good.
Yi Hua's genes are indeed powerful.
Good, good, good. Lu Jingxin was satisfied.
However, Yi Hua, why are there 3 of them? In actuality, I have 3 wives, and one of my wives is not in the palace. Thus, Xiao Tian thought that I only have 2 wives.
Yi Hua explained.
Right now, his words didn't seem to be that stiff anymore.
Lu Jing nodded.
She didn't blame them because these 3 daughters-in-law seemed to be pretty good. Yi Hua, that's why you can't treat Yuqing unfairly. Love Yuqing well and strive to give birth to a chubby boy next year.
What else could Yi Hua do?
Right now, he could only nod his head and agree to it. In the end, the mother and son chatted for a while more, and after that, Lu Jing looked for Yi Juetian and asked him to arrange Yi Hua's residence. Big brother. Good job, this is my big brother. Yi Juetian happily held onto Yi Hua's shoulder. Yi Hua didn't say anything. Could it be that I am going to chop off my own little brother's arm?
Don't force me.
Yi Hua said faintly. Teske, 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 if big sister-in-law becomes another woman, big brother, you can say these words again. Yi Juetian said with a teasing tone. After hearing that, Yi Hua didn't say anything. Yi Juetian brought Yi Hua to his previous room, then asked curiously, Big brother, do you have any impression of this place? Yi Hua took a look at his surroundings, but he didn't have any impression of this place.
Sigh.
Yi Juetian knew that this would be the case. I still have to think of a way to deal with big brother's amnesia. The amnesia of the undead was a kind of order, and no one was able to change it.
That's right, big brother. There is something that I have to tell you about.
Yi Juetian told Yi Hua about the matter regarding Great General Shan Yong, letting his big brother know what was going on. Upon hearing such news, Yi Hua chuckled lightly. Does that emperor have the qualifications to sit on the same level as me?
What kind of joke is that?
Do you know why you are still alive right now? That is because I am benevolent. This sentence can also be said to every single god. Big brother, don't secretly meet up with big sister-in-law. With a cheeky smile on his face, Yi Juetian left.
Yi Hua shook his head.
I, the Supreme Overlord, have always been the one being chased, so how can I possibly chase after a woman? Furthermore, I, the Supreme Overlord, have never met up with a woman in private. Sitting on the bed, Yi Hua waved his hand. The entire room could be seen lighting up, and a human figure could be seen slowly appearing. Yi Hua finally saw his past self. Very handsome, very cold, and somewhat similar to the appearance of the Supreme Overlord. However, it is still not enough. However, this hairstyle is not bad. I, the Supreme Overlord, have never had long hair before, so I can give it a try. Suddenly, Yi Hua saw that the floor was moving. A beautiful figure walked out from the floor, then pounced into Yi Hua's embrace. That appearance was exactly the same as when Qingya and Donghuang Baiji leaned into Yi Hua's embrace. From the looks of it, the past me and Qian Yuqing were indeed very much in love with each other. Yi Hua let out a light sigh, then removed the fantasy from his mind. Soon after, he walked to that piece of floorboard and opened it up. Inside the floorboard was actually a tunnel. It seems like he is heading towards Qian Yuqing's side. Should I go over and tell him that if he wants to be my woman, he must listen to my words? The 3 obediences and 4 virtues are the basic skills. After thinking about it, Yi Hua decided to forget about it. Does I, the Supreme Overlord, look like the kind of person who walks down the path of righteousness? Furthermore, this kind of thing has to depend on Qian Yuqing. Qian Yuqing has to comprehend it herself. After closing up the floorboards, Yi Hua took off his clothes and laid on the bed. The bedboard was a bit hard, making it not very comfortable to sleep on. I'll just make do with it and sleep for now. I still have things to do tomorrow. That night, some people had insomnia, while others slept soundly. Dawn rose slowly, representing the beginning of a new day. However, the entire spirit capital seemed a little gloomy. Many things had happened last night. Although he didn't know what they were, it felt like something big had happened. At this time, Yi Shan had already put on his court attire and was ready to enter the palace to meet the emperor. The Yi family was actually not very far from the palace, so Yi Shan walked there directly. As soon as he walked out of the door, he saw a lot of people whispering to each other. Some even ran to the notice board. Yi Shan was very confused, so he followed them to take a look. Before he walked into the notice board, he heard someone talking. The 9th prince and Qian Yuqing's marriage actually succeeded. Isn't this too fake? How is it fake? I just feel that the 9th prince and Qian Yuqing are very compatible. No matter how compatible they are still Yi Hua's women, do you understand? Yi Hua died long ago. There is only Huang Yun left now. End of this chapter. Chapter 989. Do you want to fight? Come on. Do you think I'm afraid of you? The 2 fans immediately started fighting. However, Yi Shan did not look at them and walked towards the notice board. When he saw the good news on the notice board, Yi Shan was stunned. The emperor actually approved the marriage. Yi Shan immediately understood. For the emperor to approve the marriage at this crucial moment, it is obviously against Yi Hua. If Yi Hua dares to act recklessly, I will have an excuse to kill this brave great general. This is a good plan, but if Yi Hua really falls for it, wouldn't this Huang Feidy find an excuse to exploit Yi family? Right now, Yi Shan was uncertain. I don't even want to enter the palace anymore. I don't have the mood to do so. Just what is the emperor planning to do? Is he planning to get rid of Yi Hua alone, or is he planning to get rid of Yi family? With a solemn look in his eyes, Yi Shan walked back. Did you see that? Yi family head is having a headache. How can he not have a headache? This Qian Yuqing is our Lingdu's #1 beauty, and in the past, she was also his daughter-in-law. Right now, seeing that his daughter-in-law actually married into the royal family, anyone would feel heartache for this matter. That's right, if only Yi Hua was still alive, then he would be able to clearly see this woman's true colors. In the end, she still abandoned you and threw herself into the embrace of another man. What do you all know? Qian Yuqing has always liked Yi Hua. Who knows? Maybe this woman is dangling the 9th prince as a spare tire. Scum! Brother, you are very particular. Towards this marriage, everyone had different opinions. Some people felt pity for Yi Hua. If they knew about this, they would definitely jump out from their coffins. Meanwhile, in Qian family, Qian Yi had just woken up and was currently washing up. Family head. Congratulations, family head.
Congratulations, family head. A few servants could be seen kneeling towards Qian Yi with a face full of excitement. Qian Yi laughed lightly, then took out some gold coins from her sleeve and sprinkled them on the ground, just like feeding a dog. What is there to congratulate? Qian Yi asked curiously.
One of the servants said excitedly, "Family head, the emperor has issued a decree. The 9th prince and the young lady's marriage has been approved."
After hearing that, Qian Yi immediately went into a daze.
She immediately helped the servant up and asked carefully, "Explain it clearly."
"You'll be rewarded if you speak clearly."
"Patriarch, the emperor has already announced the marriage between the young miss and the 9th prince to the world." The servant shouted excitedly as if he was the one marrying the young Mississippi.
The pleasant surprise came too quickly. Qian Yi felt a little dizzy. Ever since he became a supreme being, he had never felt so dizzy. In the end he came today.
Seeing that the family head was about to collapse, all the servants surrounded him and carefully supported him.
Qian Yi suddenly laughed and threw a bag of gold coins on the ground, causing the servants to frantically scramble for them. However, outside Chen Yuqing's room, a group of maids respectfully shouted, "Congratulations, Mississippi." Chen Yuqing, who had just woken up, was very confused. Why did they come to congratulate her so early in the morning? Chen Yuqing opened the door and saw the maids kneeling on the ground. "What's wrong?"
"Young lady, the emperor has issued a decree. The marriage between the 9th prince and young lady will be held in 7 days.
Hearing this news, Chen Yuqing did not dare to believe it. She revealed the same expression as her father, but their mentalities were completely different. "Say that again," Chen Yuqing said in a low voice. The maids repeated what they said just now. Chen Yuqing felt a little dizzy.
Seeing that the young miss looked like she was about to faint from happiness, the maids immediately went up to support her.
"The emperor has actually issued a decree. How is this possible?
Could it be that the imperial cloud is begging the emperor? That must be the case. Could it be that the emperor doesn't care about anything?
Just what are these people thinking?
I am a married woman, and there are still so many people who want to marry me. They must all be crazy."
Chen Yuqing directly walked into the room and closed the door. All the maids were very puzzled. Why is the young miss angry?
Such a good thing. If it were me, I would definitely faint from happiness.
At this moment, Qian Yi walked over and took out a bag of gold coins and threw it on the ground. The maids still frantically scrambled for the gold coins. "Yuqing, Yuqing. Father is coming in."
Qian Yi knocked on the door, then walked into the room.
Right now, Chen Yuqing was lying on the bed and crying softly. When it really happened, Chen Yuqing felt very helpless. She really wanted to talk to Yi Hua and ask Yi Hua to help her, but she was already at her limit. It was so hard, so tiring. Within Yi family, Yi Hua woke up. His mood today was pretty good. "After all, I know who my mother is. When the time comes, I just have to find out the cause of my death and find out who exactly was the one who killed me. I, the Supreme Overlord, have been exterminated twice in a row. Is it a problem with human nature? Or is it a problem with being a person? Or is it a problem with my personality? Will there be a third extermination? If there really is such an awesome person, I, the Supreme Overlord, will be very happy. I hope that awesome person will quickly come out and compete with me." Yi Hua, who was in a pretty good mood, changed his hairstyle, and even the clothes that he was wearing changed as well. Yi Hua, who was in a pretty good mood, changed his hairstyle today, and even the clothes that he was wearing were changed as well. Yi Hua stood in front of the mirror and looked at himself. This hairstyle is still very tasteful. I look just too handsome. I really don't know how Qian Yuqing managed to chase after me in the past. I really let her take advantage of me.
Wait, all of the women that I was with, all of them were only able to become my women because they were extremely lucky.
I, the Supreme Overlord, am still too outstanding. I can't even hide myself anymore. Yi Hua opened the door. The air outside was very good, and the air outside was very good. As for the house that was destroyed yesterday, Yi Shan repaired it with a single spell. To an overlord, it was very easy. Yi Hua decided to go out and take a walk. Since I am Yi Hua, I should let everyone know that I am back. I, the Supreme Overlord, am back. When the time comes, let's see what kind of expression that emperor will have. I am really curious. Within Yi family's servants, there were a lot of old servants. When they saw Yi Hua, who was dressed in a black robe, they were all stupefied. That expression, that action, they are simply exactly the same as Yi Hua. Yi Hua felt that the gazes of these people were very interesting and very surprised. This is exactly the feeling that I wanted. Big brother. Suddenly, a voice rang out from behind Yi Hua. Yi Hua turned around to take a look. So it was that squinty-eyed guy. I don't even know what his name is. The squinty-eyed guy was naturally Yi Liangkai. When he saw his big brother's makeup today, he was even more certain that if this isn't Big Brother, then this is a ghost. What? Yi Hua asked faintly. Listening to this tone, could it be that this isn't Big Brother? This person is still that ice-cold. Exactly the same as before. If this person is a scammer, then this person is definitely Big Brother's soul. After all, Big Brother's every word and every sentence is very particular, and no one is able to learn it. That Yi Juetian learned it for over 100 years, yet he still wasn't able to learn it. End of this chapter. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.